Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. Marvel. My Dad is Galactus. Chapter 21. Under the strange squirming, a large number of bulges on the surface of the monster's skin became larger and larger, and the monster's roar turned into a miserable wail. Finally, Thrall's palm suddenly clenched into a fist, and with a pop sound, countless densely packed spikes burst out from the surface of the monster's body, bringing up blood that filled the sky with green light. Upon closer inspection, these spikes are all extremely sharp, and there is a nebula-like luster flowing on the dark surface, which is quite strange. Originally this monster looked ferocious, but now it was covered in blood and covered with spikes, and its shape was even more shocking, making all the onlookers tremble with fear. The spikes protruding from the monster's body evolved from the nebula particles in Thrall's original attack. Originally a small number of nebula particles, after entering the monster's body, they kept devouring the energy and flesh and blood in the monster's body. In addition, the monster has now eaten a lot of sovereign steel and titanium batteries, and now they have all become nebulae. The nutrients for particle growth allowed a small number of nebula particles to grow to their current state. After defeating the monster that gave Sovereign a headache in one move, Thrall waved his hand slowly. With a thought, the sharp thorns instantly dispersed and turned into nebula particles again, carrying all the energy of the monster back to Thrall's body. Although it is impossible for the overall energy of this monster to make Thrall's strength increase by leaps and bounds, no matter how small a mosquito is, it is still flesh. With the supplement of the energy of these nebula particles, Thrall's aura has increased a bit. With a bang, the already dilapidated monster body collapsed. After the essence was swallowed up by the nebula particles, only a pile of useless dregs was left and fell to the ground. Thrall slowly turned around and faced the shocked sovereign executives with a huge momentum. Behind him was the terrifying monster that had only a useless body. Although Thrall did not have a strong pressure to release, under the majestic pressure that was naturally revealed, Sovereign's senior executives still felt Alexander, and could not help but feel awe in their hearts. Plop sound. Some people were already the first to be unable to resist this mental pressure and fell to their knees. One after another, all the senior sovereign officials knelt down and faced Thrall respectfully. If we say that when Thrall first came to Sovereign with force, everyone surrendered to him because of his overwhelming strength, and the surrender was filled with resentment and humiliation. So now, the humiliation in everyone's hearts has almost disappeared, and they have begun to truly surrender. In this world, the strong should dominate the weak. This principle is an iron law no matter where it is. Feeling the awe of Sovereign's top brass, Thrall showed a faint smile on his face, and his already handsome appearance shone brightly in the eyes of everyone. Sovereigns, before I came, your arrogance would sooner or later lead to your destruction, but now, you surrender to me, and you have the capital to be arrogant. You need to remember that from now on, the only person in this world worthy of your awe is me. Scanning the entire audience, Sal spoke loudly, and his voice spread far from the steel titanium battery square to the entire planet, causing countless sovereigns' expressions to change. Sal's godlike image gradually became imprinted on everyone's minds. The monsters, invasion of Sovereign, wreaking havoc and stealing batteries did not cause much disturbance in Sovereign. On the contrary, Sovereign is now caught in a huge amount of brainwashing revolution. According to Thrall's instructions, both future descendants cultivated by Sovereign and existing sovereigns must be 100% loyal to him. To achieve this, genetic modification in Sovereign technology can be used. Originally, in Thrall's view, it was not difficult to control the offspring cultivated by Sovereign to be loyal to him. What was difficult was the existing sovereigns. After all, they needed to change their will. If one failed to do so, there would be chaos in the process. However, what surprised Sal was that the genetic modification work on the existing sovereigns was progressing quite smoothly. Sovereign's senior officials began to carry out genetic modification, from top to bottom, and penetrated into all civilians. This work lasted for half a month, and there were no major problems. Lord Thrall, the genetic modification work on the existing residents of Sovereign has reached more than 90% completion. The remaining 3 days can be completed at most. Elder Collet, who was specifically responsible for genetic modification, knelt on the ground respectfully and reported piously. The brainwashing work was in charge of Collet, and he was the first to complete the brainwashing task. Moreover, I am still brainwashing, myself, and I don't know what kind of experience it is. Well done, call it. The matter of universal genetic modification continues. Now you inform everyone to come see me in the main hall. Sal is satisfied with Collett's performance. He is a casual person, and since Collett and others have devoted their loyalty to him, he will not be stingy with the good things in his hands. Next, Thrall planned to give Sovereign the surprise reward he had already prepared. Collett naturally had no objections to Sal's order. After the order was conveyed, all the high-level officials gathered together in the main hall of Sovereign's glorious palace. Sal finally brought a little birdie like a maid. Human Aisha comes out. At the moment, Aisha's beautiful and charming face was still a little flushed. It was obvious that Sal and her had another traditional human creation exchange before the high-level meeting. Lord Thrall, seeing Sal sitting down, all the senior officials knelt down respectfully and spoke in unison. Get up. Seeing the kneeling golden figures, Thrall felt the pleasure of his subjects worshipping the Emperor. He smiled slightly and waved his hand. I am very satisfied with your performance. Today, I have brought you a reward. Thrall spoke slowly, the tattoo-like pattern on his wrist shone brightly, and the Goliath star he had obtained from the collector suddenly emerged. As the most elite inheritance of the ancient and glorious Goliath Empire, the Goliath star shone with mystery and wisdom, dazzling the sovereign executives who stood up. This is the reward I give you. With Thrall's thought, the light of the Goliath star shrank a lot, but a human projection with an unclear face appeared in front of the Goliath star, bowing slightly to everyone. I am the most outstanding wisdom crystallization of the Goliath Empire, the super-intelligent Goliath star. According to the Master's order, from now on, I will serve this planet, improve your extremely backward technology and civilization, and recreate Goliath. The splendor of Empire. A crisp electronic sound came from the projected figure. As soon as this voice came out, many sovereign executives were shocked. Judging from what the super-intelligence of Goliath Star said, this little super-intelligence is more arrogant than them, and even said that Sovereign's technology and civilization are extremely backward. With Sal present, everyone naturally did not dare to say anything, but they were already quite angry towards this super-intelligence. Go, Golia Empire. Are you sure you just said Golia Empire? Just when everyone was angry, an older sovereign man among the crowd seemed to have remembered something, and asked with a trembling voice. Everyone was angry because of the words of the super brain in the Goliath star. Seeing the elder's face as if he had seen a ghost, they were all a little confused. They didn't know what went crazy with this elder. Thrall, who was free on the throne, smiled slightly and understood. Obviously, this older elder had heard or knew about the Golia Empire and was shocked by the words of the Golia Star's super-intelligent brain. Elder, you heard it right, it is indeed the Goliath Empire. Thrall said. After receiving Sal's confirmation, the older elder knelt down without saying a word, his eyes filled with horror and disbelief. It's really. How is it possible? The elder who collapsed on the ground was obviously a little dazed, muttering in his mouth, which made everyone even more confused. Could it be that the super-intelligence of this Goliath star really has such a great background? Elder Loon, what's going on with you? Everyone asked questions one after another. Under the constant questioning from everyone, it took a long time for the old elder named Loon to come back to his senses, and his old face almost burst into laughter. Lord Thrall, you are truly the savior of Sovereign. You actually brought us such a gift. If you can absorb the technology and civilization of the Goliath Empire, the pattern of this universe will definitely change in the future. Instead of being ruled by 3 alien empires, there are 4. Elder Loon knelt on the ground and bowed respectfully to Sal. This elder named Loon is the oldest one among Sovereign's senior officials. He has been responsible for the research and inheritance of history. He is quite obsessed with the secrets of various universes. He has never fought for power and gain. He is considered to be a very senior elder among them all, pedant. Although everyone could not fully understand what Elder Loon said, the shocking information revealed in these words made everyone feel itchy. You know, the 3 great alien empires, the powerful and domineering Kree Empire, the ambitious Skrull Empire, and the Sheer Empire, known as the Mighty Feather, these 3 powerful empires have been rising for a long time. It is simply not comparable to ordinary forces. The 3 empires were powerful, and the territories they ruled included countless planets, spanned several huge star fields, and their sphere of influence even radiated to the entire universe. Although today's sovereign cannot be said to be weak, compared with these three empires, it is simply a hair on the body of a cow. And Elder Loon said that with the technological civilization of Goliath Star, sovereign can become as powerful as the three major empires. Is it too exaggerated? Elder Loon, since you know something about the Goliath Empire, please clarify their doubts. When Sal saw everyone's expressions, he naturally satisfied their curiosity and asked Elder Loon to explain. My pleasure, Lord Thrall. Elder Loon nodded respectfully, with an excited and pious look on his face. Just introducing the Goliath Empire made him feel extremely honored. The Goliath Empire originated from the ancient mythological era, which was the beginning of the birth of the universe. In that era of rich resources and mysterious universe, the Goliath Empire rose very quickly. It expanded rapidly in a very short period of time. Technology and civilization also continued to develop, and eventually almost dominated this universe. At that time, most of the resources in this universe were in the hands of the Goliath Empire, which allowed their civilization and technology to develop geometrically. It can be said that, apart from the gods of the universe, the Goliath Empire has no rivals at all. Even the gods of the universe will be afraid of the powerful power of the Goliath Empire. Elder Loon had a longing look on his face and slowly spoke about everything he knew. After hearing what Elder Loon said, the eyes of the High Priest Aisha, who was sitting next to Sal, were wide open, while the rest of the people even gasped. Although the sovereigns are generally arrogant, to be honest, they still have some idea in their hearts about their strength and status in the entire universe. Now Elder Loon has talked about ruling the entire universe and having no opponents under the gods. With their thinking, they really cannot imagine such a grand scene. Looking around at everyone and seeing the shock and confusion in everyone's eyes, Elder Loon felt quite proud. These things are also recorded in very ancient classics. Maybe I am not clear enough. I can give you a few simple particles. In the heyday of the Goliath Empire, the worst of their imperial warships were super light space starships. They were starships of a much higher level than cruisers and destroyers. A super light space starship was equipped with ordinary weapons, can easily fight against an entire heavy destroyer fleet, and it is easy to conquer a star field. The Goliath Empire at that time wanted to rule the vast territory of the universe, and its transportation technology was also quite terrifying. The super light speed channel was only used by ordinary civilians for communication between adjacent star fields, and for military and high-level communication. All operations are carried out using a kind of stargate that is not available in any alien empire now. This kind of stargate is said to contain magical knowledge in addition to technology. Elder Loon's face turned red, and his saliva flew everywhere as he spoke. This distance made the explanation a lot more concrete, which reduced the confusion in everyone's eyes, but they couldn't hide their shock. If it hadn't been for such an occasion, some people might have screamed out in surprise. Elder, what you said is not entirely correct. The stargates of the Goliath Empire do not contain any magical components. This kind of stargates have specific divisions, from level planet to level fixed star, which are divided into different levels. There is also a big gap in space node construction, transmission ability and distance. Also, the Goliath Empire tried to hunt down ordinary gods with divine power and study their bodies, but then the gods came forward and finally made a treaty. A clear electronic sound slowly sounded, and Goliath Star's artificial intelligence interrupted Elder Loon when he was pretending to be at his best, and corrected the problem in his words. If it were anyone else, Elder Loon would definitely argue. After all of his secrets come from ancient relics that are almost out of print. Even if what he said was wrong, others would not be able to find evidence to refute it. But those who said this were the final crystallization of science and technology and culture of the Goliath Empire. 1 was definitely 1, and 2 was 2, and there was no room for doubt. After being corrected by the super intelligence of the Goliath Star, Elder Loon was a little embarrassed, while the rest of the people who didn't understand were still immersed in their own shock, and their breathing was quite heavy. Hunting and killing gods. What is this concept? Everyone, I have authorized that from now on, all the technological civilization contained in the Goliath Star will be shared. The purpose is to allow Sovereign to develop rapidly. Seeing that no one had recovered from the shock, Sal complained a little. Was the surprise for them too big that they couldn't accept it for a while? Don't be too happy, everyone. With these technologies as a foundation, Sovereign can indeed reach or even surpass the level of the three empires in the future, but with Sovereign's current resources. In order to get everyone to come to their senses as soon as possible, Thrall could only speak ruthlessly and strike a blow. To put it simply, just wake them up with a splash of urine. After having an on-the-spot understanding of Sovereign's existing resources, Goliath Star gave me a simple report. This report pointed out that Sovereign is currently in a resource-poor state, and the only thing that can be considered as it's a rare resource, just the kind of energy ore used to make steel titanium batteries. Thrall's voice was calm and did not fluctuate much because of the Goliath Star. The power of a force is just a tool for Thrall to become stronger. What he really cares about is himself. If you don't have terrifying strength, the powerful tools will belong to others sooner or later. However, after learning through Goliath Star that the raw ore used by Sovereign to manufacture steel titanium batteries was a high-end resource, Thrall was a little stunned and secretly lamented that his move to conquer Sovereign was really wise and powerful. According to the judgment of Goliath Star on the current universe, the high-end resources that can be summarized are all the top ones in the universe. I don't know how Sovereign has developed for centuries and has not been conquered by other powerful forces. Targeted. Okay, I have authorized the Goliath Star. Your next job is to use it to absorb everything left by the Goliath Empire. In the end, Thrall made the final decision and temporarily handed over the authority of the Goliath Star to the Sovereigns. Everyone, the Master has authorized you to freely read all civilizations and technologies preserved by the Goliath Empire. However, I think you may not know where to start, so I have made a detailed plan. Let the planet's technology leap forward in the short term. First of all, energy storage is an important prerequisite for the development of a civilization. Your utilization rate of ore for making energy batteries is less than 10%. I will help you quickly improve it and then mass produce what you call steel titanium batteries. With Thrall's authorization, as a super intelligent Goliath Star, naturally there will be no reservations. Before understanding the strength of the Goliath Empire, if the super intelligence of the Goliath Star said such words, the proud sovereigns would definitely sneer. But the situation is different now. Before the civilization that once dominated the entire universe, Sovereign was not even as good as the gravel in the small river ditch. It was definitely what others said. With the Goliath Star as a super intelligence, Thrall will hand over all construction and transformation matters to it in the following time. With the super intelligent computing power, it is easy to coordinate the affairs related to a planet. All you need to do is simply report the various progress to Thrall. However, what Goliath Star reported to Thrall the most was not the progress of Sovereign's technology, but complaints. Master, the civilization of this planet is too backward. Master, their understanding of technology is too shallow. Master, their ability to understand is too poor. Owner, facing Goliath Star's complaints, Thrall was speechless. If these words of the Goliath Star were known to Sovereign's senior officials, they would probably be unable to help but spit out a mouthful of old blood. Master, the extraction and mass production of Sovereign steel titanium battery energy ore have been successful. The volume of the current steel titanium battery is thousands of times more concentrated than before, and the energy utilization rate is close to 90%. The first batch of energy batteries has been completed. Production, do you want to check it out? One day a month later, Aisha's graceful body lay in Sal's arms. After facing a storm, she reported the news with some breathlessness. During this period of time, Sovereign's top management had hardly seen Thrall, and the only one who could talk to Thrall was her. As the High Priest of Sovereign, Aisha has the most say besides the elders. Now she has become Thrall's maid. Not only has her status not been affected in any way, but on the contrary, it has increased. Even the elders also have a strong influence on Aisha. Yesha is respectful. Regarding the Sovereign steel titanium battery, Sal personally told him that he needed to be inspected. As for the method of inspection, there is nothing more reliable than trying it in person. The steel titanium battery plaza, the core area of Sovereign technology, has undergone a completely new transformation. It can even be said to be rebuilt. The original square was all gold in color and densely covered with a large number of instruments storing steel and titanium batteries, which made people feel dazzled. Now, the entire square is divided into several areas for the extraction, production, concentration and storage of energy ores, which are clearly organized and clear at a glance. Under Ayes's guidance, Sal quickly saw this batch of brand new energy batteries that had been completed. With Sal's powerful perception, he could clearly detect the majestic and stable energy fluctuations in the area where the energy battery was stored without even getting close. It was hundreds of times more powerful than when he first came to Sovereign. This made Sal's expression look somewhat satisfied. It seems that, rescuing the Goliath star from the collector was an extremely correct decision. Seeing Sal and Ayesa, all the staff in charge of the energy battery saluted respectfully, their faces full of awe and fanatical admiration. After comprehensive and thorough genetic modification of the sovereign people, Thrall is the only god in the minds of these people. Open. Standing in front of the tightly packed container with huge amounts of energy fluctuations, Sal spoke, his tone slightly fluctuating. At first, Sal was not very interested in Sovereign's steel titanium battery. Although the batteries at that time contained abundant energy, their output was scarce. Even if Sal swallowed it whole, it would not improve his strength. It won't be much of a boost either. But it was different now. Standing in front of the container, Sal naturally felt a little hungry. This just proves that the energy battery after innovation has completely surpassed the previous level. Amidst the crisp, clicking sound of the machinery, the tightly protected containers were opened layer by layer, various protective energy measures were removed, and the energy fluctuations in them became even more violent. In Sal's perception, after the protective measures to protect and shield the energy battery were removed, the powerful energy inside the container continued to brew like a condensed energy hurricane. The last floor of the container slowly opened, and bright golden light burst out, illuminating the entire huge amounts of the hall. This golden light is very penetrating. If you look directly at it with the naked eye, you will have a terrifying feeling of being stabbed by a sharp object. Under the dazzling golden light, everyone present except Sal had to close their eyes to prevent the light from being too strong and causing damage to the eyes. Aisha took the special goggles handed over by her subordinates and put them on before she dared to open her eyes and look directly at the brand new energy battery. The special goggles decompose the golden light blocking layers, so that the naked eye can clearly see it. The dazzling golden light in front of everyone is not emitted by one battery, but the light emitted by hundreds of batteries integrates. Lord Thrall, this is the first batch of brand new energy batteries. Because you have previously ordered that they need to be inspected in person, the energy batteries have not yet been packaged and processed in the relevant casing. Next to Sal, a person in charge introduced him respectfully. This batch of energy batteries was refined from previously refined waste ores under the orders of Lord Goliath Star, so the energy contained in them is slightly inferior to the real finished product. Unable to see Sal's expression clearly, the person in charge was a little uneasy. He didn't know whether Sal was satisfied or dissatisfied with the energy battery. Sal was slightly startled when he heard the person in charge's words. What a waste of natural resources. It seems that if it were not for the technology brought by the Goliath Star, the Sovrians would have wasted so many good things. Stimulated by hunger, nebula-like black particles spread out from Sal's body like a tide, spreading towards the golden energy battery in the container. Lord Thrall, after our calculations, these new energy batteries have shown that a conventional battery, if used to maintain the daily operation of the entire planet Sovereign, can last for more than 3 years. If used in the fleet, it will be enough to support the entire planet. A fleet the size of a human fleet conducts an expedition. The person in charge wearing special goggles looked at hundreds of small and exquisite energy batteries and spoke sincerely. However, before he could finish his words, there was darkness before his eyes, and the dazzling golden light was filled with black nebula particles. Tentacle-like nebula particles flowed, wrapping the neatly arranged energy batteries and began to devour them. One end of the nebula particles was connected to Thrall's body, and after it began to devour, majestic and strange energy surged out of the battery, all flowing towards Thrall's body. The energy contained in this energy battery uses the high-end extraction and condensation technology of the Goliath Empire. It can be said to be quite pure. During the devouring process, there are almost no impurities. Each battery is concentrated to extreme energy. Before devouring it, Sal had never imagined that hundreds of exquisite batteries would contain such a huge amount of energy. When the energy was devoured and flowed back, Sal let out a breath and almost groaned with relief. The golden light dimmed completely after being covered by the nebula particles, and both the person in charge and Ayesa took off their goggles. Under the astonished gazes of the person in charge and Ayesa, the overall black particles flowed like a nebula and continued to vibrate. Threads of rich golden energy flowed toward Sal's body along the nebula particles like water. This scene was like hundreds of rivers returning to the sea, and all the energy was clearly poured into Sal's body. Sal looked relieved. Master High Priest, the energy contained in each energy battery is quite huge. Master Thrall, will there be any problems? After being surprised, the person in charge cautiously asked Ayesa in a low voice. As the person in charge, he clearly knows how terrifying the energy in the energy battery is. If Thrall devours it like this, if one of them fails, an energy battery will explode. The consequences, the whole sovereign will be buried with him. Rest assured. Ayesa glared at the person in charge and told him to shut up. Although Aisha was very confident in Sal, as Sal's devouring process accelerated, an increasingly huge energy flow spread from the battery to Sal's body, and the escaping energy fluctuations still made Aisha, he and the person in charge around him were a little frightened and couldn't help but retreat. Not to mention how miraculous the ability of nebula particles to swallow was, both of them felt a little nervous when they saw Thrall's body, which was not much different from ordinary people, being immersed in a huge amount of energy. But obviously, their worries and tensions were unnecessary. As the son of the creation god Galactus, he inherited Galactus' terrifying ability to devour. It would be a big joke if he was exploded by a few small batteries. With Thrall's full firepower, let alone energy batteries, even if he swallows powerful artifacts, planets, etc., it is not much different from ordinary people's normal meals. The devouring process didn't take long, but within a few dozen breaths, Sal's slightly closed eyes slowly opened. There was no trace of golden energy flowing among the spreading nebula particles. When the nebula particles were slowly recovered from the container where the energy batteries were stored, the hundreds of energy batteries originally placed in it had completely disappeared. If you look carefully, among the nebula particles that have not been completely recovered at the moment, there are already a small number of golden strange light spots produced, but the number is much rarer compared to the particles of other colors. I am afraid that even if you don't have good eyesight, you will notice it. There is no change in it. A bright light flashed from Sal's eyes, and he still seemed to be a little unfinished. After devouring hundreds of energy batteries, the results were much better than Thrall expected. The ability to make golden light spots appear on the surface of nebula particles means that the energy in this new energy battery has reached a very high level. As a client, Sal has deep feelings. The energy contained in the golden energy battery is not only pure, but also has a sharp property like the light it emits, with terrifying penetrating ability. This attribute can make Thrall's attacks more powerful. As long as enough are swallowed, the attack condensed by the nebula particles will be absolutely indestructible. It's just that the energy contained in these hundreds of energy batteries is still too little, not enough to allow Thrall's attack to evolve to a whole new level. Ayesa, let them go all out to make this brand new battery. The more, the better. Sal gave the order directly. Seeing the satisfied look on Sal's face, Ayesa was also quite happy. She smiled happily and nodded without hesitation. This mysterious and powerful man, domineering, powerful, and possessing terrifying strength, came to Sovereign in just over a month. Ayesa found that her body and mind had been completely conquered by him, and all her thoughts were put aside, on him. Under Thrall's order, Sovereign began to operate at an accelerated pace like a huge machine. A large amount of manpower was used in mining and refining energy raw materials. The already huge energy battery square was expanded several times, each time the scale was several times larger than before. While Sovereign was running, Thrall did not stop, and kept thinking about how to make Sovereign grow faster. In this regard, the Goliath star, which contains the wisdom and civilization of the Goliath Empire, gave Thrall many feasible suggestions. Expansion, plunder, resources are a force and an indispensable condition for the development of civilization. Having huge resources and using them rationally can allow a civilization to expand. Naturally, these huge resources can only come from plunder. Thrall, who had enough confidence, would naturally not be timid. After having a general direction, he summoned Sovereign's senior officials several times and made many arrangements. Although the starfield where Sovereign is located is not the edge of the universe, there are currently no other forces involved in this starfield except Sovereign. This is a good opportunity. Although the resources of a starfield are not enough to support the birth of an empire that dominates the universe, it is enough for the current Sovereign. On the golden planet Sovereign, a large number of mining fleets came in and out, all large industrial spacecrafts, heading in all directions of the star field, and began to explore and collect the resources of this nebula. With the massive information provided by the Goliath star, it can be ensured that the useful resources in this star field will not be ignored like the previous energy or waste. Common rare earth resources were discovered on the Sovereign 6 satellite. In the depths of the Tower Guard XM planet, an energy source signal with a frequency exceeding that of ordinary resources was found. It is initially determined that the energy reserve has reached level 3. In less than half a month, a lot of gratifying news came back from the spacecraft formation sent out to explore, which was like a shot in the arm, making Sovereign, who was already full of motivation, even more enthusiastic. Sir, this is the information you need. In the Grand Palace where Thrall lived, a senior Sovereign responsible for intelligence collection handed over the intelligence that Thrall had ordered to collect. A large number of pictures and texts appeared on the holographic projection screen, and each eye-catching title attracted Sal's attention. Muspelheim, the Land of Fire, Frost World Jotunheim, Nval, the Dwarf Country, Dimensional Arena Saka. Sal's eyes kept scanning through the pictures and texts. With his strong spiritual consciousness, he could read the large amount of collected information very quickly. This information is closely related to Sal's next trip. During this period of rapid development of Sovereign, Thrall has also been considering the issue of improving his own strength. Today, the star field where Sovereign is located has hundreds of fixed stars and densely packed small planets and satellites, almost all covered by the footprints of Sovereign's exploration team. A large number of resources have been explored, and many of them have begun to be mined intensively. And transportation, with the super-intelligent plan of Goliath Star, Sovereign no longer needs him to stay. Therefore, Thrall asked people to collect relevant information about various forces in the universe. The above forces are places that Thrall himself has a certain understanding of and believes are worthy of his visit. Among them, the Land of Frost, the World of Fire and the Kingdom of Dwarf are one of the 9 realms under the rule of God's domain. The Land of Frost and the Land of Fire are shrouded in flames and ice all year round, and the abundant energy in them can help enhance Thrall's strength. As for the Dwarf Kingdom, many well-known and powerful artifacts in the universe all come from here. If it can become Thrall's power, it will also be crucial to his future development. As for the dimensional arena Saka mentioned in the intelligence, Thrall also had a flash of inspiration by chance. Sakar is a magical place. There are a large number of stable or unstable space wormholes here, which connect many areas in the universe. Countless years ago, this place was just used as a garbage dump for the universe, or various forces exiled those who committed heinous crimes, prison. What caused drastic changes in Saka was Gao Tianzun, a cosmic elder who was fond of gambling. After Gao Tianzun ruled Saka, the Battle of Champions began. A large number of exiled strong men became his gladiators, regularly engaging in crazy death battles, attracting countless audiences, and not only brought wealth also gave Gao Tianzun's men an extremely powerful force. What Thrall is interested in is the champion warrior that Gao Tianzun has won through bloody battles. These people can be conquered as powerful thugs under their own control. After all, to form a powerful force, resources and technology are essential, and strong people are also a key part of it. Okay, you go down first. More efforts need to be arranged for the collection of intelligence. I hope that the next time I need information, what you give me will not just be a common commodity known to the whole universe. After understanding all the information, Sal said lightly to the elder in charge of the information. Although there was no harshness or accusation in Sal's tone, it still made the elder's body tremble slightly, and he left after giving a solemn assurance with a solemn expression. He knew clearly that if the information he provided was still superficial next time, Sal's attitude towards him might not be so kind. A mature intelligence network should learn to expand and penetrate by itself. I need to worry about all these nonsense. After the elder left, Sal rubbed his brow slightly, looking a little helpless. After actually taking over Sovereign, Thrall understood deeply that it would take a huge amount of time and energy to create a powerful force of his own. However, these things can only be done step by step. I have stayed in this place long enough. The information he had just read was constantly changing in Sal's mind, and a long itinerary was gradually connected. However, before leaving, Sal still had one important thing to do. After absorbing some of the technology from the Goliath star, it was transformed into a powerful steel titanium battery. Master, the first phase of energy battery production has been completed in accordance with your requirements. Without letting Sal wait too long, Ayesa brought him the good news. The mass production quantity of steel titanium batteries was based on Sal's order after he devoured it for the first time. According to Sal's judgment on the energy of the new steel titanium battery, 100 energy batteries will only make extremely rare bright golden light spots appear among his unique nebula particles. He wants these light spots to reach saturation and fill the entire nebula field. Approximately 30,000 pieces are needed. In order to be full, at one time, Sal's standard was 50,000. During this period, Sovereign invested a huge amount of manpower and material resources in the mass production of energy batteries. A total of 50,000 brand new steel titanium batteries were stored in a huge amount of square. The abundant energy fluctuations in them, it is earth-shattering. When ordinary people face it, they will feel the powerful oppression of the fixed star core. If it were not covered by a special energy shielding device, these fluctuations would be transmitted into space, which would probably attract many of the monsters that Thrall killed before. This special energy shielding device is not Sovereign's original technology, but is specially designed and developed by Goliath Star based on the energy fluctuations of steel titanium batteries to ensure that it will not be noticed by outsiders. After all, the current Sovereign is still too weak in the face of a real behemoth. A large number of energy batteries are stored, and there are terrible energy fluctuations inside the square at all times. Ordinary Sovereigns need special clothing protection if they want to act normally in it. Because of this, the battery processing and manufacturing plant has been moved elsewhere, and this area is now dedicated to battery storage and placement. Standing in front of the huge amounts of square, Sal could feel the magnificent energy fluctuations faintly revealed, which made the nebula particle fluctuations in his body speed up a lot, and he naturally had an urge to devour them. This urge to devour originated from the bloodline of Galactus, the creator god, and Thrall also inherited it. However, Thrall's ability can still perfectly control this impulse. Every time he has this urge to devour, Thrall will think of what Galactus warned him. If he cannot reach a certain level of strength before reaching adulthood, he will be controlled by the growing desire to devour, and not only will he become crazy like Galactus, the terrifying existence of devouring will also make it difficult for him to advance even an inch in strength. This was the source of Galactus' pain, and it was something Thrall could never accept. Swallowing is just his ability, it can never influence his will. Turn on the shielding device. After taking a deep breath, Sal suppressed the restless desire to devour in his heart. His eyes had become calm and indifferent, and he said to the person in charge. Boom. The moment the light shield that shielded the energy fluctuations was opened, huge amounts of energy fluctuations suddenly emerged, radiating fiercely in all directions. The fluctuations formed in a short time blew Sal's hair. The wind pressure formed by this energy did not completely spread before it was covered again. The nebula particles surging out all over the sky directly transformed into the nebula field, swallowing up the entire square like a beast's mouth. In the nebula field, energy fluctuations cannot even be revealed at all. Without the pressure caused by the terrifying energy fluctuations, Ayesa and the person in charge stabilized their bodies. They watched with some horror as Sal walked into the nebula field step by step and then disappeared. How terrifying is Lord Thrall's strength? At first, the person in charge didn't know that Sal wanted to swallow this huge number of energy batteries, but now this scene was exactly the same as Sal's previous swallowing of hundreds of energy batteries. He immediately realized that Sal was planning to swallow the entire all the energy batteries in the square have been swallowed up. You know, just one energy battery is full of energy enough to support an entire huge fleet in an interplanetary war. What is stored in this square is not just a battery, but 50,000. Sal can swallow more than 100 batteries, but what about 50,000? Ayesha couldn't answer the person in charge's doubts, but in her mind, Sal was already a powerful being in the world. His eyes fell on the nebula field that enveloped the entire square, and the admiration in Ayesha's eyes almost overflowed. Wrapped in the nebula field, the outside world cannot feel the raging energy fluctuations, and within it, no matter how violent the energy fluctuations are, there is no threat to Thrall. It's like, is there any threat to someone facing the delicious meal in front of him? In the nebula field, countless nebula tentacles branch out, extending towards the huge amounts of containers, penetrating the layers of energy barriers on the outside of the containers without any hindrance, and directly covering the energy batteries in the containers. As Sal's thoughts moved, the energy fluctuations in the entire square suddenly became fierce. On the countless nebula tentacles connected to the containers, bright golden energy burst out and converged towards his body standing in the square. Although Thrall was prepared for this devouring, he was still shocked by the majestic energy in the energy battery. The original devouring desire in his body prompted him to start devouring crazily. At the moment, Sal is just a dry sponge with huge amounts of water, and the energy battery is sea water. As soon as it touches the sea water, the sponge starts to swallow crazily. The golden energy turned into a tide and flowed back, entering Sal's body. A faint golden light gradually penetrated the surface of Sal's body, and his aura completely exploded. At that moment, if someone in Sovereign faced Thrall in full force, they would be unable to help but crawl on the ground, unable to move at all. After all, level sub-Godfather is as rare a powerful being as a rarity in this universe. Thrall's aura shortly after he entered level sub-Godfather, was constantly swallowed by the tide, and the waves spread out, and he broke through to a higher peak. This terrifying devouring speed caused huge amounts of nebula fields to tremble slightly. This was not because it could not bear it, but because of the joy of Thrall's increased strength. In a field that is as mysterious as a nebula, as the strange golden energy in tens of thousands of energy batteries is swallowed up, little golden light spots gradually emerge among the nebula particles, and the bright golden light eggs exude extremely sharp. The smell, just seeing it with the naked eye, has a burning illusion. When more and more golden light points are born, they can be seen clearly from outside the nebula field. Master High Priest, what's going on? The face of the person in charge who was closest to the nebula realm changed. Facing the sudden dazzling golden light spots and the extremely sharp aura on the surface of the nebula realm, his heart was in his throat. Ayesha also shook her head in confusion. Like the person in charge around her, she had a completely blank understanding of Sal's ability. Although her relationship with Thrall is closer than that of all sovereigns, in the final analysis, she is just Thrall's maid, and she does not know many of Thrall's secrets. More and more golden light spots spread, and the sharp aura exuded from the nebula field made it difficult for Ayesha and the person in charge to get close. They could only keep retreating. Otherwise, they were not sure. Faced with this increasingly powerful sharp aura, will your body be torn apart? After absorbing a large amount of energy batteries, the golden light spot that appeared in the nebula field made it difficult for Ayesha and the person in charge to get close to it just by its aura. You can imagine how terrifying it would be if it actually transformed into an attack. What is happening in the outside world is in the nebula field. Thrall, who is concentrating on devouring and feeling this golden energy, does not know. At the moment, Thrall is completely immersed in the hearty improvement of his strength. The terrifying inheritance of Galactus allows Thrall to swallow a kind of energy, and after it is completely converted into his own strength, he can control and use it as he pleases. Thrall is currently in the process of this process. A large number of batteries were swallowed up and completely transformed into Thrall's strength. The energy aura in the energy battery square continued to decrease sharply, and the original violent fluctuations gradually weakened. At a certain moment when most of the 50,000 batteries were devoured, the aura on Sal's body suddenly fluctuated. Two golden rays of light emerged from his wide-open eyes, and an unparalleled sharp energy penetrated his entire body. At the moment, Thrall was like a magic weapon unsheathed, shaking the entire square with his fierce aura. Around Thrall, the ground was scratched by invisible aura, and the hard metal ground showed deep marks scratched by sharp weapons. It seems that my previous preparations were correct. There are less than 10,000 energy batteries left of the 50,000 energy batteries before the golden light spots in the nebula particles reach saturation. With a thought, Thrall understood everything in the square covered by the nebula domain. Most of the original 50,000 energy batteries had disappeared. Feeling the golden energy in his body that had turned into his own strength, Thrall had a smile on his face. Originally, with the terrifying inheritance of Galactus, his strength was absolutely top-notch among the same level, and he could stand up to even beings one level higher in strength. Now, his attacks have the ultimate golden energy. The sharpness and penetration ability greatly increased Thrall's confidence. Thrall at the moment has enough confidence that he is almost invincible against opponents of the same level as level sub-Godfather. Thrall even has an impulse. He doesn't need to break through to the real level Godfather to be able to fight against the weaker beings among the level Godfathers. Even if he explodes with all his strength, he may not necessarily be at a disadvantage. You know, according to the rules of this universe, leapfrog combat is quite unparalleled. Only some terrifying perverts or perverted artifacts can do it. Glancing at the energy battery that was not in stock, Sal's heart moved slightly. The nebula field suddenly dispersed and turned into nebula particles, flowing towards Sal's body. Thrall does not plan to devour all the remaining energy batteries for the time being. After all, Sovereign needs them for daily operations. Another point is that when he is rushing through the stars, a certain glutton also needs a huge amount of energy replenishment and improvement. Master, the feeling you give me seems to be different from before. Seeing Sal standing in front of her, Ayesa spoke in confusion. Oh, what's the difference? After his strength improved, Thrall was in a good mood with a faint smile on his face. The feeling you give me now is like a sword, with a sharp edge that nothing can match. Aisha organized her words slightly to barely describe this feeling. Sal smiled slightly and understood why Ayesa said that. He had just absorbed a huge amount of golden energy, and he hadn't completely controlled it to the point where he could command it like an arm. Naturally, there would be traces of breath coming out, which would make Aisha and others feel like this. With Sal's powerful inheritance ability, he will soon be able to completely control these huge energies. By then, Aisha will naturally have no such illusion. The nebula particles that returned from the square moved and split the remaining energy batteries into two parts. Nearly 3,000 of them were wrapped by Sal with the nebula particles to ensure that his breath would not leak when he traveled in the starry sky. These are the snacks prepared for the starry sky beast. As for the remaining portion, it is completely enough to maintain the normal operation of Sovereign. Ayesa, I have to leave. After finishing the last things, it was time for Sal to leave. He is not a person who procrastinates. What's more, Thrall has always had a sense of urgency. It is this sense of urgency that allowed him to rapidly improve his strength and reach his current height at a young age. Hearing Sal's words, Aisha was slightly startled. Although Sal had told her the next arrangements when she was lingering with Sal, it was only when it was time to leave that Aisha realized that she had no feelings for Sal. How dependent and reluctant to give up. Don't worry, I will be back. Help me manage Sovereign while I'm away. After getting along with her for many days, Sal also felt some affection for this little maid and comforted her. A penetrating clear whistle came from Thrall's mouth, echoing throughout Sovereign. Soon, a thunderous dragon roar responded, and the huge figure of the starry sky beast that had just woken up from its slumber soared into the sky, casting huge amounts of shadow in the sunlight, and flew quickly towards Thrall. After eating a large number of steel titanium batteries, the starry sky beast fell into a long sleep. It did not have the ability to be as powerful as Thrall. It could convert huge energy into its own strength in minutes. It could only sleep through come and digest slowly. However, the progress of the starry sky beast is also quite gratifying. After waking up, its already huge and slender body has grown again. Looking from a distance, it really looks like a dragon. The starry behemoth soared into the sky, and continued to emit sky-shaking dragon roars while flying, causing everyone in Sovereign to marvel. After completely surrendering to Thrall, everyone's fear of the giant beast in the starry sky dissipated a lot. Looking at this soaring giant figure, there was only awe and envy in their eyes. The starry sky beast enjoyed the sound of exclamation on the ground and screamed even louder. It also deliberately twisted its huge body to show its power. In fact, in the final analysis, the starry sky beast is still in the growth stage, considered a minor state among humans, which is when vanity is at its peak. Seeing the giant beast of the void appearing in the sky for a long time before flying over, Thrall just smiled knowingly and did not blame it. After a joyful cry, the starry sky beast suddenly landed in front of Thrall, and the powerful vibrations made the entire square tremble. Looking at the brand new square, the starry sky beast's eyes flashed with excitement. Although the square has been expanded again and again, it is very different from the original one, but the starry sky beast remembers that it was here at the time and ate a lot of delicious steel titanium batteries before it made such progress. After he woke up from his slumber, the starry sky beast still wanted to have another big meal, but Thrall gave him a strict order not to approach this area without Thrall's consent, so the starry sky beast gave up angrily. When Thrall was devouring a large amount of energy batteries, the starry sky beast also felt the surging energy fluctuations that accidentally leaked from the direction of the square. It was already itching and unbearable. If it wasn't for Thrall's order, he would have endured it. Can't stand it anymore. Could it be that Thrall summoned himself now because he had something good to give him? With this thought in mind, the hollow beast looked at Thrall with eyes full of urgency and longing, and breathed out thickly, almost forming a violent wind. Don't look at me like a prostitute looks at a client. After eating so much, it's time to get to work. Let's go. Thrall was angry and funny about the lazy star beast, and deliberately cursed with a straight face. This is not because Thrall is stingy with energy batteries, otherwise he wouldn't have brought thousands of batteries specifically as rations for the starry beast. The starry sky beast is different from Thrall. After a period of time after devouring and growing, it needs to continue to settle and completely digest the devoured energy before it can continue to eat. Otherwise, no matter how much you eat, the energy cannot be digested and will be wasted. After being scolded by Thrall, the starry sky beast immediately stopped and lowered its head with a helpless expression, looking very pitiful. Give me this set. Sal was speechless about this, and he didn't know who taught him, so he pretended to be pitiful. Ignoring this guy's rogue tricks, Thrall's figure moved and landed on the generous back of the hollow beast. A nebula particle turned into a chain and was directly put around the neck of the starry sky beast. The round nebula particles wrapped with thousands of energy batteries were directly connected to the chain, like a cat bell, hung on the neck of the starry sky beast. Superior. Ouch. Regarding Thrall's actions, the starry sky beast could only moan to show its dissatisfaction with Thrall's use of child labor. Why did you give me a bell? I want to eat the battery. However, hard work is hard work. The starry sky beast did not dare to really disobey Sal's order. It was just playing with the temper of a child. Huge amounts of body moved, and its claws deliberately kicked heavily on the battery square before leaving the ground. Rise. Under the huge amounts of power of the starry sky beast, the entire battery square was shaken violently again. If the sturdiness had not been considered during the expansion, it would have fallen apart. The starry sky behemoth glanced at the battery square with huge amounts of reluctance, and then flew higher into the sky. Seeing this, Thrall smiled slightly, and the bell, hanging on the neck of the starry sky beast slightly leaked a breath. The extremely abundant energy fluctuations immediately made the starry sky beast's tiger body tremble, and huge amounts gradually appeared in the astonished eyes of surprise. Fly harder for me, or you won't be able to eat anything. Sal's confident laughter sounded. Ouch. This time, the huge roar of the starry sky beast dispersed the clouds and rose directly into the sky. In the blink of an eye, it traced a long trajectory and disappeared from the eyes of everyone in Sovereign. A roar of huge amounts of beasts made many sovereigns a little surprised and a little relieved. Without the hungry starry beast, they at least don't have to worry about the old man getting bored and causing trouble someday. Only the high priest Aisha stared blankly at the empty sky, with reluctance and loss in her empty eyes. Breaking out of Sovereign's atmosphere, the starry sky beast quickly carried Sal into the vast space. Looking at Sovereign from space, the golden planet is as dazzling as when Thrall first came to this star field. But in just a few months, this bright golden planet has undergone earth-shaking changes. Perhaps even Thrall did not expect that in the near future, this golden planet, this inconspicuous star field, would be noticed by billions of eyes in the entire universe. Through his powerful mental power, Thrall told the starry sky beast about his next destination, and the two figures quickly disappeared into Sovereign's star field. Ouch. Ow. In the deep and mysterious universe, Thrall and the starry sky beast keep moving forward one by one. This huge amount of starry sky behemoth made this kind of flattering cry from time to time along the way, and the meaning was obvious. That's asking Sal for energy batteries. When it was in Sovereign, the starry sky beast devoured the most ordinary steel titanium batteries of elementary level Sovereign. It ate a lot at that time, making its strength increase by leaps and bounds, reaching planet level. However, after eating the first new energy battery given to it by Thrall, the starry sky beast was completely addicted to this delicacy of gilded energy. Thrall was naturally not stingy. As long as the starry sky beast could absorb it, he met all its requirements. The energy level of the innovative energy battery is completely incomparable with the energy level of the original steel titanium battery. This majestic energy with powerful penetrating properties also has huge amounts of energy for the starry sky behemoth's enhancement. Along the way, the starry sky beast devoured many brand new energy batteries. Not only did its strength improve again, but its speed also became faster and faster. Even its original attack energy gradually became as sharp as golden energy. The penetrating properties made Thrall speechless. After such changes, the starry sky beast's positioning in Thrall's mind has been improved, and the energy batteries it has obtained are also increasing day by day. You really can eat. Look at you now, your whole body is glowing. The energy you had before has not been fully digested. Hurry up and hurry up. Wait until the energy is fully digested before you yell at me. Thrall slapped the giant starry sky beast on the head and spoke angrily. Indeed, the majestic energy contained in each energy battery is not easy to be completely absorbed. The starry sky beast is eager to eat, and it is purely because Sal Yong has his mouth in his mouth. If it were the previous behemoth in the starry sky, when encountering those energetic meteorites in space, they would be eager to take a bite. If someone tried to fight it, they would have to fight. But now, these things no longer interest it at all, and it will growl at Sal when it gets greedy. The majestic starry sky beast has turned into a domestic husky in front of Thrall. Hurry up, when you finish digesting, when will you start eating? A golden energy battery was rolled up by the tentacles made of nebula particles. The golden light quickly dimmed and disappeared. Thrall had a playful smile on his face, using this method to stimulate the starry sky beast. The aggrieved giant beast in the sky could only let out a strange cry, and a powerful momentum exploded, turning into a stream of light in an instant, and charging madly in one direction. With the current strength of the starry sky beast, at full speed, it is no less than many powerful battleships. With the naked eye, you can only see a comet-like light passing by, and then it disappears in a flash. According to Thrall's plan, the first stop is Nval, a dwarf country that is good at making artifacts. Now that Sovereign has the Goliath star, the development of science and technology is naturally advancing at a rapid pace. According to Thrall's plan, if he can get the huge help from the dwarf kingdom, his plan to form a force will take another big step forward. You know, there are two powerful forces in this universe, one is technology. The other one is called magic. Nval's dwarf integrates magic into technology to create extremely powerful rune artifacts. According to Thrall's impression, in the movie, Odin's eternal spear Gangnus and Thor's Mjolnir were both written by Nval dwarf. These two artifacts, using the most precious materials in the universe and incorporating rune magic, are powerful enough to give the user a powerful combat capability that is almost beyond the level of challenge. Thrall is already planning to go to Saka and select a group of top champion gladiators after he conquers the dwarf country of Nval. On the artifact equipment tailor-made by dwarf, Saka emerged as the bloody champion. If we can build a large-scale army with this, we can integrate the sovereign technology of Goliath star. By the time, who in this universe can compete with Thrall? However, there was a small episode in Thrall's plan. A man and a beast originally heading towards Nval were inexplicably involved in a fleet war between two forces in the starry sky. In other words, one fleet is encircling and killing another fleet. Boom! In the midst of the chaotic fleet war, a stream of energy struck directly in the direction of the starry sky beast, hitting the starry sky beast's tough skin and making an explosion. Ouch! The starry sky beast suddenly became angry, and a huge roar that shook the space resounded throughout the fierce battlefield. After following Thrall, the starry sky beast was also infected by Thrall's confidence and rushed forward without hesitation. What's more, this is an inexplicable provocation. Although this energy shock is just like scratching an itch, the dignity of your starry sky beast cannot be challenged. Along with the angry dragon roar of the starry sky beast, the violent aura on its body suddenly rose and spread towards the battlefield where the entire fleet was fighting. This loud roar and huge amounts of size immediately attracted the attention of the two fleets. The fight was originally in full swing, but under the power of this dragon's roar, the exchange of fire briefly stopped. Thrall sat on the huge back of the starry sky beast, his face calm, but the light in his eyes became cold. The inexplicable attack not only made the star beast extremely unhappy, but Thrall was also angry. "Sir, it is a monster of huge amounts, and this may be its territory. Your Excellency, Commander, when we were fighting the Accuser fleet, an energy attack hit the monster, and now it is enraged." On the largest motherships of the two fleets that had temporarily ceased fire, there were soldiers reporting to the higher-ups. Through the battleship's detection system, huge amounts of images of the starry sky beasts were clearly displayed on the motherships of both sides. While the warships on both sides were observing fiercely, Thrall's powerful perception also spread out, completely covering the two fleets in huge amounts. Although the battle between the two fleets affected him, Thrall would not take action immediately until he understood it clearly. Under Thrall's powerful perception, everything about the two fleets quickly appeared clearly in his mind. Ronan the Accuser. On the other side is the Nova fleet of Xandar. Through perception, Sal saw an acquaintance. This person is none other than Ronan, the Accuser of the Kree Empire who appeared in the movie Guardians of Galaxy. He is a bloody executioner wearing a black strange metallic cape and a lot of black paint on his face. Among the other forces, although there was no one familiar to Thrall, the eye-catching bright yellow irregular six-pointed star logo on the French warship represented the Nova Alliance. Although they were acquaintances, it was only Thrall who knew Ronan well, and Ronan did not know Thrall. Similarly, the Nova fleet only noticed the starry sky beast for a while and did not see Thrall. Since this monster has gotten involved, let's destroy it together. Anyone who dares to confront the Accuser, whether he is a human or a monster, deserves to die. On the battleship of the Accuser fleet, Ronan, who was holding the Kree warhammer, had murderous intent in his eyes and gave the order without any hesitation. Yes, a Kree Empire soldier nodded respectfully, and then conveyed Ronan's order. The battleship restarted its powerful charging, and had completely locked the starry sky beast. Feeling the lock of the Accuser fleet, Thrall frowned slightly, and his eyes became completely cold. The aura on Thrall's body was sensed by the starry sky beast. The starry sky beast was unhappy and let out a roar, and its ferocious giant eyes gradually turned scarlet. Its temper is much hotter than Thrall's, and he is also a fool who is not afraid of anything. When I first met Thrall, the starry sky beast attacked Thrall without any hesitation. Now not only did he receive an energy attack inexplicably, but the other party dared to lock it, which even aroused the starry sky. The ferocity in the bloodline of giant beasts. The starry sky beast is ready. As long as Thrall orders it, it will pounce directly and tear the Accuser fleet to pieces. On the Accuser fleet mothership, huge amounts of cannon muzzle blazing energy was charged. Following an order, a dazzling energy beam as thick as a bucket shot directly towards the ferocious head of the starry sky beast. Obviously prepared to kill with one hit. This energy impact was much more terrifying than the one that accidentally fell on the starry sky beast just now. It was at least hundreds of times more powerful than the normal energy bombardment of a battleship. Just the trajectory formed by passing through space caused some distortion in this area, which shows the high energy intensity and strong destructive power. Facing this attacking beam of light that was about to arrive in a blink of an eye, the starry sky beast also showed a trace of caution in its eyes. Although it has become a lot crazier after following Thrall, due to its instinctive response to crisis, it deeply knows that if this attack is not dealt with carefully, it will definitely cause a lot of damage to it. Let me do it. Feeling the tightness of the starry sky beast's body as he sat down, Thrall's voice rang in the starry sky beast's ears. At the same time, the nebula particles surpassed the body of the starry sky beast in the blink of an eye and solidified into a barrier in front of it, standing directly between the energy attack and the starry sky beast. Boom! The terrifying energy beam hit the surface of the barrier constructed by the nebula particles, immediately triggering an explosion of huge amounts. The dazzling light illuminated this side of the sky, and the destructive power was huge amounts of wanton aftermath. The aftermath of the explosion and impact spread in all directions from the point of intersection of the two, like a hurricane, causing many warships that were approaching to be slightly pushed away. Continue to attack the Nova fleet and destroy them all. Seeing huge amounts of energy exploding from the projection screen, Ronan felt no fluctuation in his heart. In his opinion, although the starry beast that suddenly appeared was powerful, this attack was enough to shatter it into pieces. It was just an insignificant monster, and Ronan would not take it to heart at all. What he is really concerned about is the Nova fleet surrounded by fleets. With the grudge between him and the Nova Alliance for generations, Ronan will never let go of such a golden opportunity. After receiving Ronan's order, the person in charge was about to adjust the battleship and continue to encircle and suppress the Nova fleet, but when the screen was switched, he was slightly startled and the movement of his hand stopped. The behemoth in the starry sky that should have been shattered to pieces was charging towards the fleet with great momentum at the moment. There was a golden red blood-colored light condensing on its body, making it appear to be extremely powerful. Sir. Sir. The monster just now is still there. After rubbing his eyes to make sure that he had read correctly, the person in charge spoke hurriedly and reported to Ronan. Ronan's eyes fell on the projection, and he was also slightly stunned, looking very surprised. Even Ronan would not be able to take the attack launched by the main ship unscathed just now. How could this monster be possible? However, Ronan didn't have much time to think. On the starry sky beast, a group of nebula particles had condensed into a slender spear. The dazzling golden light on the tip of the spear was aimed at a medium-sized ship of the Accuser fleet. Battleship. It's not disrespectful to reciprocate. Facing the two attacks from the Accuser's fleet, Thrall had an indifferent smile on his face and slowly raised his fingers. Just in time, let Ronan's Accuser fleet test the nebula particles that have unparalleled sharp properties after devouring a large amount of strange golden energy. Whoosh! The slender spear turned into a dim light, with a bit of gold on the tip of the spear, piercing the space directly, and in an instant it crossed the distance between the spear and the battleship, and sank into the Accuser medium-sized battleship that Thrall was targeting. Compared to the huge warship, the attack launched by Thrall was very inconspicuous. Even the medium-sized warship being attacked did not notice anything before the attack came. But, the next second, boom, a terrible explosion surged out from the inside of the medium-sized battleship, and the bursting fire directly engulfed the medium-sized battleship completely. Quiet. When the medium-sized battleship exploded, the quiet sound of a pin drop could be heard in the command hall of the Accuser's mothership. The first reaction of the Accuser fleet was not shock, but confusion. What exactly is going on? Commander, the battleship of the Accuser fleet suddenly exploded. Compared to the doubts and bewilderment of the Accuser fleet, the Nova fleet was unbelievably horrified. Even with the technology of the Nova Alliance and the Accuser fleet, Thrall's move was not immediately clear. Commander, should we break out of the siege of the Accuser fleet now? On the Nova fleet mothership, a person in charge asked the commander with a solemn face. Don't move for now. Something is wrong. Ronan's fleet cannot explode for no reason. Have you seen that monster? Quickly investigate all our databases and see if you can find any relevant information about that monster. As one of the commanders of the Nova Alliance, he is not an ordinary person. In such a critical moment, he did not choose to escape immediately. With the commander's order, a dedicated person in the Nova fleet began to quickly search through the Nova Alliance's huge database based on the influence of the starry sky beast. In this short moment, the situation on the side of the Accuser fleet has undergone huge amounts of changes. After the first medium-sized battleship exploded, inexplicably, many battleships exploded one after another, completely dispersing the formation of the entire Accuser fleet, causing huge amounts of chaos. Once Thrall takes action, he won't stop it so easily. At the moment, the body of the starry sky behemoth was surrounded by a nebula particle barrier solidified by nebula particles. It was like a tiger rushing into a herd of sheep. Huge amounts of body swept across, using the most primitive and barbaric method to attack battleships one after another, launched an attack. The size of the starry behemoth is huge, and its file size is comparable to that of a heavy destroyer. Except for the huge mothership of the Accuser fleet, other warships are difficult to stand up to in front of it. After all, as a battleship's attack, it is usually an energy impact, and it is rare to use such a brainless method as impact. It was the first time I encountered such a weird situation. After the first medium-sized battleship was hit by the huge body of the Starry Sky Beast and exploded, facing the terrifying power of the Starry Sky Beast, all the warships were afraid of avoiding it and could only continue to fight. In the process of dodging, all the firepower of the battleship was mobilized to attack the Starry Sky Beast fiercely. However, the energy bombardment covering the sky from the Accuser fleet fell on the barrier formed by the nebula particles. In addition to causing the barrier to vibrate, it could not pose any real threat to the people and beasts protected by the barrier. On the contrary, the barrier formed by the nebula particles continued to withstand a large amount of energy impact, and became more and more solid as the energy in it was devoured wildly. After a series of attacks, the thickness of the nebula barrier covering the Starry Sky Beast's body increased several times. No matter how powerful the attack landed on it, it would be difficult to cause even the slightest ripple. The only thing that makes the Starry Sky Beasts a little afraid is Ronan's mothership Dark Star. As the core mothership of the Accuser fleet, the powerful weapons carried by this mothership far exceed the configuration of conventional motherships. With the current strength of the Starry Sky Beast, it will probably suffer a loss against the Dark Star. It is precisely because of this instinct for crisis that although the Starry Sky Beast roared and attacked one Accuser warship after another, it always avoided the Dark Star. At the same time, it also diverted part of its attention to pay attention to the Dark Star's changes at any time. After casually destroying a medium-sized battleship, Thrall did not continue to do anything. Facing a fleet of this size, Thrall really couldn't arouse much interest. He could just leave it to the Starry Sky Beast to skin it. Otherwise, once the nebula field covering the starry sky of the main film opens, this fleet will be gone. The only thing he was interested in was the Dark Star, which was as huge as an eagle, and Ronan in the Dark Star. Judging from the aura that Sal could sense, Ronan's strength was not weak and he should be a planet-level existence. The weapon in Ronan's hand is called the Kree Warhammer, which is known as the Universal Weapon. It is the result of the peak Kree technology. Although it does not incorporate magic elements, this hammer at least reaches the level of a semi-artifact power. Ronan, who holds the hammer, should be considered the best among planet-level combatants. Such an existence can barely give Thrall some practice. Seeing the Starry Sky Beast carrying the cannon fire all over the sky and smashing the entire fleet to pieces, Thrall didn't believe how long Ronan could maintain his bloodthirsty temper. In line with Sal's judgment, in the Dark Star at the moment, Ronan's originally indigo complexion had completely turned gloomy, almost dripping with water. Ronan's body was filled with extremely cold murderous intent. The soldiers around Ronan felt a little trembling at the moment when they felt Ronan's extremely dark anger. Following Ronan, they all know the temper of this evil god. The more silent he is, the more terrifying he is. If they suffer huge losses and fail to capture a starry sky monster, they will definitely not be able to bear Ronan's wrath. Finally, during a period of extremely depressing silence, one end of the warhammer in Ronan's hand hit the ground with a clang. The long-handled warhammer sank into the hard alloy ground. A circle of visible fluctuations spread out, causing the warships to tremble slightly. Tremor. Open the battleship cabin. Ronan's voice was like the cold wind blowing in the abyss, making everyone excited. Yes, everyone did not dare to disobey Ronan's order at this time. They could only quickly open the battleship cabin with shaking hands and watch Ronan step by step through the shielding mask and stand in space. I hope Ronan's anger can dissipate a bit after killing this monster, and he won't give them too terrible punishment. This was what everyone was thinking as they watched Ronan leave the battleship. Thrall was aware of it as soon as the Dark Star battleship cabin opened. When Ronan's figure flew out of the sky, Ling Ran's momentum was also perceived by the Starry Sky Beast, and he stopped plundering. Thrall and the Starry Sky Behemoth were not the only ones who paid attention to this scene. On the Nova fleet side, everyone who was shocked by the Starry Sky Behemoth also took a breath when they saw Ronan's cold eyes in the projection. Although this was just Ronan's projection, everyone felt uncontrollable fear in their hearts when they saw Ronan's eyes. It was this executioner who slaughtered thousands of people of the Nova Alliance. In the entire Nova Alliance, there is no one who does not hate and fear the murderous and cruel accusers. Your Excellency Commander, Ronan the Accuser is also here. Once he takes care of that monster, it will be difficult for us to evacuate. The person in charge next to the Nova Alliance commander spoke again. He really didn't understand why the commander didn't order the evacuation at this time. If we miss such an excellent opportunity, wouldn't we put the entire fleet on a sea of fire? Have you found the information on that giant starry beast? The commander's eyes were a little strange. He did not directly answer the person in charge, but asked about the information about the starry sky beast. For some reason, he had a strange intuition in his heart that not only would nothing happen to the Nova fleet today, Ronan will be in bad luck. Chapter 31. Seeing the starry sky behemoth stop its rampaging footsteps, Ronan moved the Kree warhammer in his hand, and the majestic cosmic energy was suddenly aroused, all rushing towards the warhammer. The excessive cosmic energy poured into the warhammer in an instant, almost forming a hurricane visible to the naked eye, and the center of the hurricane was Ronan. As more and more cosmic energy was attracted by the Kree warhammer, Ronan's aura became more and more explosive. Seeing this scene, Thrall's eyes showed great interest. He didn't expect that this warhammer, in addition to having powerful attack methods, also had such a special ability. In Thrall's perception, this warhammer was originally made of a very special material, which made his nebula particles tremble a little. This kind of throbbing is not due to fear of the power of the warhammer, but the desire to devour it. Special items that can trigger nebula particles are obviously extraordinary. Humble thing, you could have dominated this weak galaxy, but you happened to hit my gun and destroyed the battleship of the Accuser's fleet, thus announcing your death sentence. Ronan's voice was gloomy and gave people a creepy feeling. The strong aura contained an undisguised desire to kill. This kind of terrifying aura can only be obtained by killing countless lives. If ordinary people faced Ronan at the moment, they would probably be frightened, completely dominated by fear and the shadow of death, and unable to fight at all. However, Ronan is now threatening Thrall. Then this threat becomes a ridiculous joke. In response to Ronan's words, Thrall, who was behind the starry sky beast, showed a sneer on his face, and gently patted the starry sky beast's body to signal it not to be impatient. Immediately, Thrall's body rose into the air, left the back of the starry sky beast, and passed through the nebula barrier that protected the starry sky beast. Seeing a figure walking out of the nebula barrier protecting the starry sky beast, Ronan's pupils shrank slightly. At the moment, Thrall's face was calm, and he stepped step by step in the void, as if the void under his feet was a solid ladder, and his body looked very ethereal. There was no powerful aura released from Thrall's body. If it weren't for this magical scene, I'm afraid no one would think that Thrall was a strong man who could travel through the void with his body alone. But Sal, who did not have any powerful aura on his body and was walking slowly in the void, gave Ronan a terrifying sense of crisis. Thrall's appearance not only made Ronan wary, but also made the fleets on both sides suspicious. Only the commander of the Nova Alliance, who had never ordered an evacuation at this opportunity, had an uncertain look in his eyes. After a brief period of confusion, a flash of realization flashed in the commander's eyes. When he saw Sal appearing, he felt that the young man looked very familiar, and he quickly overlapped with the figure in his mind. It is the son of the creation god planet Devourer Garin who made a huge noise in the Ziwu realm not long ago. No need to investigate that monster, Ronan is in big trouble today. After confirming Thrall's identity, the commander's previous feeling was confirmed. His tense face relaxed and he murmured confidently, "Ah, Commander, what's going on?" The person in charge next to him looked confused at the commander's incoherent words. "Just watch with peace of mind. The Accuser fleet has offended someone who cannot be offended." The commander did not explain too much. He focused all his attention on the void on the projection screen and waited for the development of things. At the moment, Thrall, who was slowly walking in the void, finally stood opposite Ronan. Facing Ronan's strong aura, his face remained calm, as if he didn't feel it at all. "As the Kree Empire all trash like you, with the head of a human and the brain of a pig." This was the first thing Thrall said after being involved in the battlefield. His calm tone of words spread throughout the room. Arrogant, extremely arrogant. Everyone in the Accuser's fleet reacted after being stunned for a moment, and their rationality was immediately overwhelmed by anger. Thrall's words scolded the entire Kree Empire. "Who is this? Looking for death? Who is he? How dare you insult our great Kree Empire in front of Lord Ronan?" Lord Ronan will definitely kill him. Amidst the abuse, all the accusers, fleet stared at Thrall with hatred, waiting impatiently for Ronan to tear this arrogant guy into pieces. Who are you? Facing Thrall, Ronan pointed his warhammer at Thrall. His gloomy voice remained the same, and he did not go crazy because of Thrall's insult. Seeing Thrall step out of the starry sky beast, Ronan felt a little more confused. Anyone who can make such a powerful starry sky beast surrender, and dare to be so crazy when knowing his identity, is either a madman or has a certain background. Therefore, before killing Thrall, Ronan asked. Definitely, with Ronan's lawless character, I'm afraid no matter who Thrall is, he will take action without hesitation. In fact, both Thrall and Ronan have some similarities. The same arrogance, the same ambition. The only difference is confidence. Thrall's madness is based on sufficient confidence and absolute power. Ronan's madness was desperate madness. I am your father. Sal was not interested in Ronan's nagging at all. He just wanted to deal with Ronan as soon as possible and continue on his journey. I am your father. Thrall's words made Ronan's breath suffocate, and the energy fluctuations in his body were chaotic for a moment. This is a way of communication that ruffians only use in fights. How can a strong man who has crossed the void talk like this? However, this is really how Thrall talks. Although his origin is countless times nobler than 99.9% of the people in this universe, don't forget that Thrall's soul is a serious time traveler. After being shot twice for no reason, it was strange that Thrall could talk to Ronan properly. Angry. After Ronan's reaction, when he looked at Thrall, his murderous intent almost took shape. Facing Thrall, the anger in Ronan's heart could no longer be suppressed, and his aura rose again. A huge amount of shockwave from the Kree warhammer surged toward Thrall with strong killing intent. Completely irritated by Thrall, the angry Ronan didn't hold anything back, and launched a powerful attack unique to the Kree warhammer. The spiral-like shockwave, although not very powerful, is extremely dangerous. This shockwave has the unique material decomposition ability of Kree warhammer. The ability of this kind of material decomposition is quite terrifying. Even the special alloy of the outer shell of the space battleship will be broken down into particles in a short time and dissipate directly as long as it is hit by shockwave. What's more, Thrall's body is not a powerful alloy, but a body of flesh and blood. However, facing the material decomposition shockwave launched by Ronan, Thrall showed a disdainful sneer on his face, without any intention of evading it. This scene made those subordinates who were familiar with Ronan's methods look cruel on their faces. Die. They seemed to have seen this arrogant young man being painfully decomposed under Ronan's attack, his body disappearing bit by bit, and finally disappearing from this universe forever. But, is this really the result? Facing this material decomposition shockwave with hidden murderous intent, Thrall's face remained motionless as nebula particles suddenly erupted out, hanging in front of him like a curtain-like barrier. Waves of shockwave hit the barrier transformed from the nebula particles, causing the barrier to fluctuate immediately, as if a large stone had been thrown into a calm lake. However, this seemingly weak nebula barrier blocked shockwave. No matter how much Ronan increased his attack, it was difficult to destroy it. If your strength is only this level, I take back what I just said, you are worse than trash. Thrall spoke calmly, faced with the shockwave, and suddenly punched out. This punch carries the power to destroy mountains and mountains. There is also a faint golden light on the surface of the fist, which looks quite powerful. In addition to using the original power of his body, Thrall's fist is attached with a layer of the strange sharp property contained in the sovereign energy battery. It is precisely because Ronan's strength is still weak that Thrall plans to use Ronan to test how powerful this sharp energy can be. With a punch, it was as if the space was pierced by a sharp blade, and an overwhelming roar sounded, and then it violently collided with shockwave. The powerful decomposition impact and the ultimate penetrating punch collided, and there was an explosion of huge amounts, and the decomposition shockwave suddenly overflowed crazily, causing the space to shake violently. With the explosion, Ronan's decomposition attack was completely destroyed. The powerful force caused his body to fly back suddenly. He almost hit the dark star behind him before all the aftermath was removed and he stopped, looking a little embarrassed. On the other hand, Thrall, after punching through the decomposition impact launched by Ronan, his body did not retreat, and he still stood there casually and proudly, without any fluctuation in the expression on his face. In the punch he used to defeat Ronan's attack, he only slacked off a trace of golden energy. Ronan was completely unable to resist, and it was difficult to determine the power of this extremely penetrating energy. At the moment, Ronan had a look of shock on his face. In addition to the rising murderous intent, there was also deep fear in his eyes when he looked at Thrall. The terrifying strength shown by Thrall's punch just now can be regarded as the most powerful opponent Ronan has ever encountered. With one punch, he can not only defeat the decomposition shockwave launched by the Kree Warhammer, but also force himself to retreat in a panic. This kind of strength is definitely a formidable enemy. However, the contempt and slight disappointment in Sal's eyes made Ronan's anger rise to a terrifying level. He is murderous and cruel. For countless years, he has been the only one to look at others with this look. No one has ever dared to look at him with such a look. Ah! Ronan paused and let out a crazy roar, holding the Kree Warhammer tightly in his hand and raising it high above his head. Huge cosmic energy, accompanied by Ronan's movements, once again gathered from the entire starry sky, and was all integrated into Ronan's body through the Warhammer. This time, Ronan unleashed the power of the Kree Warhammer with all his strength, and the cosmic energy he aroused was 100 times greater than before. There was an aura of madness in this terrifying energy fluctuation. Oops, Ronan has gone crazy, that person may be in danger. On the Nova Alliance side, the person in charge who was horrified that Sal defeated Ronan's attack with one punch suddenly exclaimed, with a worried look on his face. As Ronan's sworn enemies, they have a good understanding of Ronan. With this universal weapon, this executioner can control huge cosmic energy. Once he goes crazy, he will be so terrifying in a short period of time that even a fleet can it's hard to compete with him. Compared to the tension and worry of the person in charge, the commander of the Nova fleet showed a relaxed look on his face. Seeing the nebula particles changing randomly, he had already confirmed Sal's identity in his mind. The indifferent expression on Thrall's face was enough for the commander to guess that Ronan was definitely no match for Thrall. If you want to destroy people first, you must first make them crazy. Thrall at the moment, Ronan was driven crazy. When his strength completely surpassed his opponents and all foreign objects, Thrall naturally allowed Ronan to control the huge cosmic energy, and wanted to see how magical this Kree Warhammer was. The more powerful and magical this Warhammer is, Thrall will naturally increase his strength even more if he defeats Ronan and swallows his Warhammer. Ronan used the Warhammer to control the energy of the starry sky very quickly. After being transformed by the Kree Warhammer, all of this energy turned into a power that Ronan could temporarily control and entered his body. More and more majestic energy entered the body, making Ronan's figure become taller and majestic, and the powerful momentum he exuded also increased. Feeling the surging power in his body, the cruel look in Ronan's eyes became deeper and deeper. At a certain moment, all the cosmic energy in the starry sky in the main film was swallowed up by Ronan, and the pressure he released reached unprecedented heights. Planet-level pinnacle. Thrall was able to clearly judge Ronan's level of strength at the moment, which was a little surprising. Unexpectedly, a Warhammer can actually increase the user's strength so high. But the only shortcoming is that no matter how much cosmic energy is swallowed in the body, Ronan's strength will be difficult to break through to the planet level with the help of foreign objects. Moreover, these surges of energy are only temporary. Once the limit of the Kree Warhammer is exceeded, Ronan will be instantly knocked back to his original shape. After all, not everyone has Thrall's terrifying ability. Just by swallowing energy, he can quickly transform it and improve it crazily. Is this your limit? I'm a little disappointed. Forget it, my time is precious, I'll hurry up and get you done. Looking at Ronan, who had reached the peak of his strength, Thrall shook his head slightly. Stupid, I admit that you are very strong. If you interrupt me when I am absorbing the energy of the universe, I may not necessarily be your opponent, but now, dual domain. Go to hell. The powerful power made Ronan even more arrogant and arrogant. He swung the Kree Warhammer high at Thrall, and a strange power suddenly spread, completely enveloping him and Thrall as well as the entire battlefield. At the moment when the battlefield was wrapped in a strange realm, Thrall's body standing in the air sank slightly, and he felt an extremely powerful pressure coming from his body, like a mountain. However, no matter how powerful the mountain is, it would be a fool's errand to overwhelm Thrall. Not to mention mountains, even planets. With Sal's strength, he is not afraid at all. At the same time, in this area, in addition to the sudden increase in huge amounts of pressure, there is also an extremely strong decomposition ability, which is constantly acting on Thrall's body, trying to decompose him into invisible. The moment he reacted, a thin layer of nebula particles circulated on Sal's body surface, fighting against the pressure created by Ronan. It's kind of interesting. Using the Kree Warhammer, we actually created a field with gravity suppression and material decomposition ability. It's the technological crystallization of the Kree Empire. I just laughed at it. Under Ronan's disbelieving gaze, Sal's sinking body immediately returned to its original position and spoke with a relaxed expression. Impossible. Compared to Sal, who looked relaxed, Ronan, who activated the dual domains of gravity and decomposition field, was much more surprised. When he sensed Thrall's strength, Ronan didn't hold anything back. He used the Kree Warhammer to control almost all the cosmic energy in the starry sky and launched a unique move. However, for the first time, Ronan, who was extremely confident in his dual fields, widened his eyes and exclaimed. After resisting the disintegrating shockwave he launched, Thrall also punched. Faced with the dual fields where his full strength was used, Thrall didn't even move a hand. What does this mean? It shows that the opponent's strength is definitely far superior to him, and the battle with him is just a game of cat playing with mouse. After thinking about this, the anger in Ronan's heart was like pouring cold water on him, making him feel cold from head to toe. A trace of fear surged out from the deepest corner of Ronan's heart. For Ronan, he hadn't felt this emotion in countless years. This made Ronan lose all fighting spirit, and he only thought about how to avoid Thrall, a great god with unknown origins. It's a pity that Thrall will not give him another chance. To him, Ronan's double domain, his trump card, was like a child's playhouse, and he was not affected at all by being in it. Facing the flustered Ronan, Thrall showed his white teeth and smiled coldly at Ronan. Then, it turned into an afterimage that was difficult to distinguish with the naked eye and disappeared from Ronan's perception. The moment Sal's figure disappeared, Ronan suddenly felt the ultimate crisis. His pupils shrank like needlepoints, and the strong aura in his body exploded again. His whole body jumped like a piece of steel. A special position was like a protective shield, covering his body, shrouded. Although he was very afraid of Thrall, when the life and death crisis came, Ronan, who had been fighting for many years, still made the right judgment. He knew that with Sal's terrifying and elusive speed, it would be almost impossible for him to escape, and Sal would easily kill him. The only way is to resist Thrall's next terrifying attack and have a chance to breathe. However, although Ronan's idea is good, when the gap in strength is like a chasm, no strategy will help. When he saw Thrall's appearance again, Thrall's palm was already like a blade, shining with golden sharp metal light, passing through everything on his right arm and shoulder without any hindrance. As for the positional defense that Kree Warhammer has fully constructed, it is as if it does not exist. What happened? Ronan felt a chill on his shoulders and had a moment of doubt in his heart. However, before this thought had fully arisen, a heartbreaking pain was felt in his right shoulder, causing Ronan to let out a crazy roar of pain. Scarlet blood spurted out from Ronan's disappeared right shoulder like a fountain that had opened and spread out in space. In just an instant, Thrall's terrifying palm cut off Ronan's entire arm. Thrall's figure gradually became clearer, and he stood not far from Ronan in the air. He sneered and looked at Ronan, who was screaming in crazy pain. Ronan's broken arm and the Kree Warhammer in his right hand were all there. Thrall's hand. The cut on this broken arm was as smooth as a mirror. It didn't look like it was cut off by Sal's palm at all. Instead, it looked like it was cut off with some kind of sharp blade. Blood flowed out from the broken arm and dyed the whole arm red. Then he slowly lowered himself along the Kree Warhammer held by the severed hand. At the moment, Ronan was extremely miserable. Not only had he lost an arm and was almost half disabled, the violent aura on his body just now was like being punctured by an inflated balloon, but in the blink of an eye, it was completely beaten back to its original shape. Without the Kree Warhammer to control the huge cosmic energy, Ronan's strength has plummeted, half kneeling in the void, looking like a beast on the verge of despair. Thrall's eyes did not stay on Ronan's body, but instead observed the Kree Warhammer held tightly by Ronan's broken arm. Nebula particles surged out of Thrall's hand like water, spread across the hammer handle, and directly submerged Ronan's severed arm. When the nebula particles faded away, Ronan's bloody arm had disappeared from this world forever. At this moment, except for Ronan's suppressed roar of pain, the starry sky fell into a strange dead silence. Ever since Ronan took action, many accusers believed that Thrall was dead. When Thrall defeated Ronan's attack with one punch, no one had any doubt that Ronan would be so miserable by Thrall in an instant when he exploded with all his strength. Therefore, apart from the suppressed breathing, no movement could be heard in the battleship. Both the accuser and Nova Fleet's eyes were a little dull, feeling that their thinking was not enough. "Who are you? Who are you?" After roaring for a long time, Ronan finally suppressed the pain of losing an arm, and looked at Sal with bloodshot eyes as he gritted his teeth and roared. "It's a good thing. It would be a pity to swallow it. It's better to keep it in the future as a reward for outstanding subordinates." After a brief observation, Thrall had complete control of the Kree Warhammer. With his strength, he could figure out the function of this Warhammer in just a few moments of thought. This Kree Warhammer, known as the Universal Weapon, is indeed worthy of its name. In addition to being able to control the cosmic energy in large areas of the starry sky according to the strength of the user, it can also activate the terrifying shockwave of material decomposition, and even ability to reorganize matter, shapeshift objects, control gravity and create invisible force fields to fight enemies. Although the one-sided attack power of the Kree Warhammer is not as powerful as that of conventional artifacts, if these many abilities can be properly utilized in battle, their power is no less than that of ordinary artifacts. The only pity is that, at Thrall's level, this hammer is of little help to him. However, after getting the Kree Warhammer, Thrall was somewhat reluctant to devour it directly. This thing contained many of the Kree Empire's top scientific and technological achievements. He threw it to Sovereign and slowly researched and developed it. Sovereign's development is also a big boost. In other words, when Thrall has suitable subordinates, this Warhammer can also be used as a reward to greatly increase the strength of his subordinates. Thrall ignored his own question. Seeing Thrall playing with his most important weapon with great interest, Ronan's already bloodshot eyes turned blood red, and his gaze was completely like a ferocious beast, eager to devour anyone. Stared by Ronan's fierce eyes, Sal slowly raised his head and stared at Ronan with his plain eyes. The disdain in his eyes did not change at all. "The look in your eyes seems very unconvincing, but since you want to know my identity so much, I will be merciful before you die." The Kree Warhammer weighing hundreds of kilograms was easily spared in Thrall's hand. The cold and dark hammer pointed at Ronan, and a shockwave turned into a terrifying attack, surrounding the semi-crippled Ronan. "My name is Sal Galan, the son of the creation god planet Devourer. It's a pity that after you go to hell, you won't have the chance to seek revenge from me." Thrall's voice became the last words Ronan heard before he was completely drowned by shockwave. The severe pain that swept through his body and soul completely overwhelmed Ronan's consciousness. "It's a good thing. It would be a pity to swallow it. It's better to keep it in the future as a reward for outstanding subordinates." After a brief observation, Thrall had complete control of the Kree Warhammer. With his strength, he could figure out the function of this Warhammer in just a few moments of thought. This Kree Warhammer, known as the Universal Weapon, is indeed worthy of its name. In addition to being able to control the cosmic energy in large areas of the starry sky according to the strength of the user, it can also activate the terrifying shockwave of material decomposition, and even ability to reorganize matter, shapeshift objects, control gravity and create invisible force fields to fight enemies. Although the one-sided attack power of the Kree Warhammer is not as powerful as that of conventional artifacts, if these many abilities can be properly utilized in battle, their power is no less than that of ordinary artifacts. The only pity is that, at Thrall's level, this hammer is of little help to him. However, after getting the Kree Warhammer, Thrall was somewhat reluctant to devour it directly. This thing contained many of the Kree Empire's top scientific and technological achievements. He threw it to Sovereign and slowly researched and developed it. Sovereign's development is also a big boost. In other words, when Thrall has suitable subordinates, this Warhammer can also be used as a reward to greatly increase the strength of his subordinates. Putting away the Kree Warhammer, Thrall's eyes fell on the Accuser fleet. The nebula particles turned into a barrier and suddenly expanded. Ronan, the culprit who offended him, was taken care of, and Thrall was not going to let go of the accuser's fleet. After all, a powerful fleet still contains a lot of energy. The speed of the nebula barrier's expansion far exceeded everyone's reaction speed. By the time Ronan's defeat was realized, whether it was the accuser fleet or the Nova fleet, the starry sky where the main battlefield was located was all surrounded by the nebula barrier. Under Lord Ronan, lost, one soldier muttered incoherently. It was not clear whether it was fear or something that made his teeth tremble and he could not speak clearly. On the Ronan battleship, the horrified people saw Ronan floating in the starry sky, his body broken and miserable, and he didn't know whether he was alive or dead, and finally slowly came back to his senses. Use the battleship energy to rescue Master Ronan. At the moment, the commander in the Dark Star's eyes turned red and he issued an order. As Ronan's confidant, he has been with Ronan for a long time, and his loyalty to Ronan is unquestionable. Commander, Lord Ronan, I'm afraid, what we should consider now is how to escape from this weird star field. That terrible person has controlled this starry sky. On the accuser's side, someone put forward different opinions at this time. This is also the thought of many people on the battleship. In their opinion, Ronan was dead, and they were just minions. If they broke out now, they might still have a chance. Bang! Blood mixed with white brains exploded in the command hall and stained many people's faces. A headless corpse exuded its last remaining warmth and slowly fell to the ground. If someone has the same idea as him, then his fate will be the same. Now, execute my order. Remember, you must save Lord Ronan no matter what, even if it costs everyone's life. No matter what. The commander of the accuser fleet had a terrifying look in his eyes. He slowly put away the weapon in his hand. Regardless of the blood splattered on his face, he glanced around the crowd and gave an order in a cold voice. Yes, under the terrifying pressure of the commander, no one dared to raise any objections. A beam of light was emitted from the Dark Star and fell on Ronan, who was floating in the starry sky without knowing his life or death. Then the light was recovered and led Ronan towards the Dark Star sped away. During this process, everyone on the Dark Star was extremely nervous, fearing that this move would make Sal rage again, so they immediately launched an encirclement and suppression campaign against them. Fortunately, although Sal saw this scene, he had no intention of stopping it, but the curve of his mouth was a bit cold. Anyone who offends him, these warships and his accusers will soon die. The nebula barrier surrounding the starry sky began to shrink under Thrall's control. When the nebula barrier is completely closed, everything in it will become Thrall's meal. However, Thrall did not take action against the Nova Alliance. When the barrier shrank, it did not affect the Nova Alliance warships and ignored them. Thrall is not a murderous person. There is no dispute between these people and him, and he will not kill them all simply because of improving their strength. Lord Ronan is not dead. In the Dark Star battleship, Ronan was lying on the ground in a miserable state, his breathing was barely audible, and he felt like he would burp at any time, but he was indeed not dead. Sir Commander, the opponent's strange domain is coming. What should we do? Should we lead Ronan to break through with all our strength? Seeing the nebula barrier surrounding the large starry sky outside the battleship shrinking, everyone in the battleship was panicked and could only bite the bullet and ask. Mobilize all the energy of the Dark Star, initiate the time and space transfer, and send Lord Ronan back to planet Kree. Seeing Ronan's miserable appearance, the loyal commander's eyes turned blood red and he issued an order. After following Ronan for a long time, he had already regarded Ronan's life as more important than his own. It was precisely because of this that he made such a decision. In Ronan's current near-death state, only on the Kree home planet, with powerful technological means and resources, can there be a glimmer of hope. But sir, once we use time and space transfer, most of the Dark Star's energy will be consumed. Everyone was shocked when they heard the commander's words, but under the commander's blood-red eyes, everyone was shocked and stopped immediately. They already understood what the commander meant. After consuming most of the battleship's energy, facing Thrall, they had no way out but to fight to the death. Thinking of this, everyone's breathing became much heavier, and their eyes gradually became filled with blood. As cruel accusers, there is absolutely no fear of death in the character of these people. Knowing that they must die, their most ruthless side has been fully aroused and they are ready to fight desperately. The Dark Star vibrated violently, and the entire huge amount of the battleship's energy was concentrated toward a special area. Ronan, who was left with only one breath left, was in this area. Boom! At a certain moment, the space shook violently, and a gap in space and time was rushed out by the vast energy. However, the power of space is so terrifying. This space rift only existed for a short moment before disappearing completely. The blazing light disappeared, and the space became completely calm. The only thing that changed was that Ronan in the middle had suddenly disappeared. Thrall, who was casually closing in the nebula domain, let out a light sigh. Why is the energy suddenly so weak? In Thrall's perception, the Dark Star is the most powerful mothership of the Accuser fleet, and it contains a lot of energy. However, at the moment just now, most of the energy in it strangely disappeared. There is a slight fluctuation in space. Because his attention was not on the Dark Star, Thrall only noticed a few clues, but he didn't know exactly what happened. Thrall thought about it. This was probably some kind of special method used by the Accusers, and they were preparing to fight him one last time before they died. In response, Thrall just sneered slightly. No matter how crazy the ants are, they will not be able to resist when faced with the mighty dragon. The area constructed by the nebula barrier continued to shrink, occasionally pausing for a few short moments, but the final result remained unchanged. When the domain decomposed into nebula particles and returned to Thrall's body, there was no trace of the Accuser's fleet in the starry sky. Roar! Seeing that the Accuser fleet was completely destroyed, the starry sky beast let out a low groan, its huge body moved around, and quickly flew in front of Thrall. This low groan was filled with deep disdain. Immediately, this being, whose strength was comparable to that of an entire fleet, flew up and down around Thrall and began to fawn over him. After the release just now, the battery energy in its body that had not been completely digested was released, and the golden light on its body disappeared. This guy is not stupid. What he means now is to tell Sal that it is time to continue feeding. The behemoth in the starry sky that Thrall feeds on is the energy battery that he remembers most clearly. Sal was speechless about this foodie and could only shake his head with a wry smile. Thrall waved his hand, and a golden energy battery flew out from the bell on the neck of the starry sky beast. Seeing the golden energy battery, the starry sky beast flew into the air, opened its huge mouth, and swallowed the energy battery into its belly in one gulp, with a humanized look of satisfaction in its giant eyes. Soon, the already dim starry sky beast became filled with golden light again. After rolling his eyes at the starry sky beast, Thrall moved slightly and landed behind it again. The episode of encountering the fleet war was not in Thrall's plan. Now that he has secured the Accuser fleet, Thrall is ready to continue heading towards his destination. However, just as Sal was about to leave, a small spaceship on the Nova fleet mothership came quickly and stopped in front of Sal. Seeing the evil gaze of the starry sky beast, the spacecraft retreated a certain distance, for fear of being exploded by this guy's tail. On this spaceship, the commander of the Nova fleet in a spacesuit walked out with a grateful face, and saluted Thrall along with several people around him. Lord Thrall, I am the commander of the Third Fleet of the Nova Alliance on Xandar. On behalf of the entire Nova Alliance, I would like to thank you for saving everyone today. Facing Thrall, the commander's body was trembling with excitement, but what he said was sincere. If Thrall suddenly appears today, their fleet may not be able to withstand Ronan's encirclement and suppression. Even if they escape, they will definitely suffer heavy casualties. It's the little things. Sal didn't bother to explain. He nodded slightly and spoke calmly. He still has business to do, but he doesn't have time to chat with people from the Nova Alliance. After hearing Thrall's words, the commander quickly understood. Knowing that Thrall had no intention of making friends with them, he felt a little disappointed. Originally, he wanted to express gratitude and please Thrall. If he could reach the great god Thrall, even the ambitious Kree Empire might not dare to attack them easily in the future. It's a pity that Sal's attitude is lukewarm, and he obviously has no intention of getting too entangled with them. It's a small thing for Lord Thrall, but you did save all of us. I will definitely report this matter to the Alliance. Lord Thrall will be the most distinguished guest of the Alliance from now on. If Lord Thrall comes to Xandar in the future, be sure to come and sit in the League headquarters. The commander bowed slightly to Thrall again, his posture quite low. I will go if I have the chance. I have something else to do today, so let's leave it at that. As the saying goes, don't hit someone with a smiling face. Seeing the commander's sincere attitude, Thrall didn't want to be too cold and responded. And maybe, after doing this smooth favor, there will be things that Shandar can help with in the future. Hearing Sal's answer, the commander was immediately excited and did not disturb Sal too much. The small spaceship quickly returned to the battleship. At Thrall's signal, the starry sky beast set off again with a roar. Watching the huge amounts of the starry sky beast disappear into the starry sky, the grateful Nova fleet also set off and returned to the headquarters. Although the dust has settled on what happened in this starry sky, once the news came out, it caused a huge ripple in the entire universe, but it had just begun. After returning to Xandar, the commander reported all the thrilling experiences truthfully, which really shocked the Alliance's senior officials. For Thrall, everyone felt grateful and in awe, and finally, after high-level unanimous discussion, the matter was spread throughout the entire sphere of influence. Definitely, the specific story of what happened is that the Nova Alliance will not say that Thrall was accidentally attacked by the Accuser fleet when he took action, but that the Accuser fleet of the Kree Empire was arrogant and domineering, not only ignoring the peace agreement and attacking the Alliance, but also Thrall also wanted to kill him together, but he ended up with such a tragic end. This news is huge amounts of good news for the entire Nova Alliance, but for the Kree Empire, it is probably bad news. Is Ronan crazy? He dares to attack the son of the creation god. He wants to die, so don't drag down the Empire. On Hala, the home planet of the Kree Empire in the large Magellanic system, a group of senior officials from the Kree Empire gathered together and were troubled by the news released by the Nova Alliance. Everyone has a look of worry on their faces, knowing that if this news is confirmed, their empire will face a big crisis. What is the difference between attacking the son of the creator god and attacking the creator god? What's more, the target Ronan, this lawless guy, wanted to kill was the son of the planet Devourer. The whole universe knows how unreasonable Galactus is. Where is Ronan now? A senior executive looked ugly and shouted at the person in charge of intelligence. The Accuser fleet was completely wiped out. Ronan was sent back through the space channel by the last energy of the Dark Star. He was on the verge of death. After all-out rescue, Ronan has not yet awakened. What? Why isn't this guy dead yet? I've said long ago that although Ronan is powerful, he is blinded by hatred, and there is also a problem with his loyalty to the Empire. You didn't listen at the time, and now you are causing trouble. What should we do about such a big thing? Among the many Kree senior officials, although many people are on Ronan's side, there are also many people who are very dissatisfied with Ronan's cruelty. Now that Ronan has provoked Thrall, one can imagine the anger in the hearts of these people. It's not that serious. The Accuser's fleet was completely destroyed by the opponent. I believe his anger should be calmed. If the opponent really comes to us, we can handle it. The loss this time is already big enough. The Empire cannot lose any more. Elite. Among the Kree senior officials, someone also died, Paul Nan. After all, Ronan's killing spree for so many years also contributed to the prestige of the Kree Empire. Elite. According to the news I heard, although he is still alive, it is no different from dead. Now he has become a waste. Now Ronan can no longer provide any help to the Empire. If the other party really comes to us and gives up a waste, what does it matter? Many senior officials who were dissatisfied with Ronan would not let the matter go so easily. Everyone, please listen to what I have to say. Just when the Carey executives were divided into two groups and arguing, an old but loud voice silenced everyone. The speaker was an old man, who was considered a highly respected senior among Carey's senior officials. He had an aura of calmness and authority, and it was obvious that he had been in a high position all year round. However, his eyes were a bit sinister and fierce. At first glance, he seemed to be the kind of person with an extremely strong desire for control. On Ronan's side, I handed him over to the pursuers. The Empire has been carrying out the Hunter plan for so many years. If Ronan can succeed, his value is enough for Kree to deal with the son of the creation god for him. If it fails, it will naturally be of no use. Seeing that everyone was quiet, the old man spoke slowly. With one sentence, the expressions of many senior officials immediately changed. Hunter plan. If it really succeeds, I'm afraid. The Kree Empire will once again have a madman, countless times crazier than Ronan before. Don't be lazy, we're almost there. A shining golden energy battery was thrown into the Starry Sky Beast's open mouth by Thrall. The Starry Sky Beast swallowed the gem in one gulp and let out a roar of joy. Its speed surged again, passing through a dark star belt, and its eyes suddenly opened up. After this long journey, Thrall and the Starry Sky Beast finally arrived at the first stop of this trip, the star field where the dwarf country Nval is located. This is a vast starry sky, but compared to other star fields that Sal has seen, this place looks a little barren at first glance. Other star fields are always covered with fixed stars of large file size and small size and countless planet satellites, making a star field look like stars shining brightly. However, there are not many shining spots in this star field, and it is filled with a desolate and ancient atmosphere, as if this star field is the dying old man, and the fire of life is about to extinguish. With Sal's powerful perception, Nval's location was clearly captured. This paradise where dwarfs have thrived for countless years is located next to a fixed star that is burning brightly. Under the light of the fixed star, it shows a metallic color. However, although the light of this fixed star is bright and illuminates a large area of the starry sky, according to Thrall's keen perception, the energy of the fixed star core is constantly being lost. If this rate continues, this planet will have a lifespan of several thousand years at most before it runs out of energy and then collapses into countless meteorites floating in the starry sky of the universe. As expected of the race that is best at casting in the universe, even the fixed star belt in which we live is made of metal. As the starry beast approached, Thrall finally saw clearly that the entire Nval was like a world intertwined with metal and flames. The whole thing was made of cold and hard metal, standing majestically. Although all this looks impressive, a country with nothing but metal always gives people a sense of lack of vitality. The Starry Sky Beast let out a low groan. It was somewhat uninterested in this desolate starry sky. I originally thought that Thrall would let him travel countless distances and reach a good place, but the result before him was obviously far from the Starry Sky Beast's imagination. The Starry Sky Beast has been getting along with Thrall for a long time, and its temperament has also been affected by Thrall. It is extremely picky and it is difficult to interest it in items that are not full of energy. Seeing this, Thrall laughed a little, gave the Starry Sky Beast a slap in the face, laughed and cursed, and then the Starry Sky Beast reluctantly moved towards Nval. The dwarf clan is a race famous for its casting in the universe. Forging weapons has become the most important thing in their daily life. At this time, the whole clan is busy forging with enthusiasm. The whole Nval can hear the sound of gold and iron from time to time. Click sound. Dover, the artifact mold is about to be finalized. Turn on the energy output with all your strength and increase the flame temperature to the maximum. Beside a huge amounts of casting furnace, a strong dwarf took out a red mold in his hand and was turning it over in the blazing fire. The temperature of this huge amount of casting furnace was already outrageously high, but the shirtless dwarf didn't seem to feel much heat, staring nervously at the mold in the fire, as if looking at his lover. Good. The dwarf named Dover responded and began to mobilize the star core energy to inject the casting furnace with all his strength. The surrounding temperature suddenly increased in a straight line, and the air was distorted to the naked eye. It's not enough. We're increasing it. The increasingly intense heat caused the dwarf who was casting the mold to be soaked with sweat all over his clothes, and his thick hair was unable to resist, bending slightly in the air. However, the dwarf's eyes were always on the mold in his hand, showing firmness and warmth. Persistence. The energy output by the star core is getting larger and larger, and the temperature of the casting furnace has increased several times compared to before. The mold in it has turned red and shiny, emitting a strange fluctuation. Feeling this fluctuation, several dwarfs showed knowing smiles on their faces. This kind of fluctuation shows that the artifact mold in front of us is close to success, and it is only a matter of time before it ends. But at this time, something that no one expected caused the smiles on everyone's faces to freeze. Boom! Huge amounts of fixed star core suddenly erupted with an unprecedented violent fluctuation. Under the blazing energy explosion, Nval, which was in the star belt, was suddenly severely affected. The entire area was shaken violently. It was as if the Earth was falling apart. Oops! The output energy of the fixed star core is too high, and the core components of the star belt link are damaged. Why did the fixed star core explode so early this time? Report it to the Dwarf King quickly and ask him to ask the strong men of Asgard for help. The dwarf reacted and roared, and Nval shaking became more intense, like a big earthquake. Many dwarfs were exclaiming loudly, with horrified looks on their faces. It's too late. The core components of the star belt link are damaged and the energy transmission cannot be turned off. The star core explosion will soon affect Nval. We are finished. Amid the shock that spread throughout the planet, the experienced dwarf quickly made a judgment, with a look of despair written on his face. The energy riot of a fixed star core, and the collapse of the machine specially built by the dwarf family to suppress the energy of the fixed star, undoubtedly made it worse. Without a strong person to sit in, the dwarf family could only wait for destruction in panic at the moment. Among the dwarfs gathered together, a tall dwarf standing at the front had a sad expression on his face. He stared fixedly at the star core where the fire was getting more intense and violent. He clenched his hands tightly and his veins were completely bulging. This exploding fixed star core was a powerful boost to the rise of the dwarf clan. With its abundant energy, artifacts were created by the dwarf clan. But it is precisely because of this that fixed star uses too much star core energy, causing fixed star to age and die at any time. A fixed star is quite dangerous at the end of its life, and huge changes may occur at any time. Originally, in order to ensure the safety of Nval, Asgard, the divine domain, would regularly dispatch strong men to reinforce the security measures around the star core. But this time, in order to cast the artifact mold, the dwarf successively used the power of the star core, which caused the star core to explode in advance. At this time, even if we ask for help from the divine realm, water from far away cannot quench our thirst, and it is simply too late in time. Is the dwarf clan really destined to be destroyed today? Dwarf King Ikwi murmured, the strong reluctance in his tone was powerless to save the situation. Just when King Dwarf was filled with grief and anger, the color was close to the surface of the red fixed star core, and suddenly dimmed from one side. What is that? Under the blazing firelight, King Dwarf could only see a strange black substance that spread extremely quickly. But in the blink of an eye, these strange black substances have spread across the entire fixed star core. The blazing fixed star core in front of everyone has become much dimmer, and even the rising temperature around the body has it also dropped instantly. What happened? Why did the fixed star core suddenly dim? Could it be that a strong man sent by God's domain has arrived? When all the dwarfs saw this scene, their faces showed surprise. As long as the rioting fixed star core energy can be controlled, their death crisis will be naturally lifted. However, among the crowd, there was only one person with strange eyes and full of doubts, and that was the dwarf King Ikwi. He knew clearly that this time the fixed star core energy riot happened so suddenly that he had no time to ask God's domain for help. So, who is it that controls the fixed star galaxy energy riot in front of us? I didn't expect that it would be such a coincidence that I had just arrived in Nval. It seems that the next thing will be easy to handle. The one who released the nebula particles all over the sky and constantly devoured the violent star core energy was naturally Thrall, who came all the way to control the giant beast in the starry sky. Seeing the fixed star core riot, the dwarf clan was in crisis. Thrall took advantage of the situation, and the majestic nebula particles built a field, completely wrapping the entire star core, and began to continuously devour the energy of these riots. In this way, it not only helped the dwarf family resolve the immediate crisis, but also replenished some star core energy. It was a good thing that killed two birds with one stone. In the star core of a dying star, with Thrall's strength, it is easy to suppress the energy bursting out of it. By the time the nebula realm disperses and the entire Nval rebuilds its light, there will no longer be any riots in the star core. The breath is released. At this time, the energy in the star core was swallowed up by Thrall. The light was much dimmer than before, but it was enough for everyone in the dwarf clan to see Thrall clearly. Thank you for taking action just now and helping us solve the crisis. I wonder who you are. Why are you here to help us, the dwarf clan? King Dwarf was the first to react and asked gratefully, looking at Thrall with a hint of respect. Seeing Thrall's unfamiliar face, King Dwarf was confused, but someone who could suppress the explosion of a fixed star core at will was definitely a very powerful person. Strong people should be respected, especially the strong man who just saved the entire Nval. At this time, many people saw Thrall's young face clearly. Similarly, many dwarfs were amazed by the starry sky beast wandering around Thrall. Thrall doesn't have much powerful aura, but the huge amounts of starry sky creatures beside him exude a rather violent aura. This kind of aura, although not deliberately covered, is enough to make many dwarfs palpitate. Your Excellency should be the king of the dwarf clan in Nval. My name is Thrall. I don't have any ill intentions in coming here. I just want to make friends with the dwarf clan. Thrall showed a harmless smile on his face and glanced at the dwarfs. The purpose of his coming was to conquer the dwarf clan. Under this premise, Thrall was not willing to use violence. This time, Thrall considered whether he could convince others with his virtue. Ouch! Next to Thrall, the starry sky beast seemed a little unhappy at the neglect of the dwarfs. It roared angrily, but Thrall glared at it lightly, and immediately shut up. Thrall's words made all the dwarfs have strange looks on their faces. Your Excellency Thrall, you have helped us a lot. You are definitely the most noble fat friend of the dwarf family, but this friend of yours is too big. Although he was not wary of Thrall, King Dwarf frowned slightly when he saw the huge body of the starry sky beast. It seemed that they could not find a suitable place to settle in the area where their family lived. It doesn't matter, this guy just lets it move in the starry sky outside Nval. Thrall smiled knowingly, moved his body, and jumped down from the top of the starry sky beast. He then gestured to the starry sky beast and gave it instructions with his mental power. Hearing that Thrall told him not to enter the area of the dwarf clan, the starry sky beast was slightly unhappy and let out a low groan. Such a shabby place, the uncle still looks down upon it. Huge amounts of eyes swept over the dwarfs, and the bodies of the starry sky beast slowly flew up. Seeing the appearance of the starry sky beast, Thrall smiled helplessly, and a golden energy battery flew out immediately, causing the starry sky beast's eyes to change. Roar! With a joyful roar, the energy battery was bitten by the starry sky beast, and disappeared from everyone's sight in the blink of an eye. After arranging the behemoths in the starry sky, Thrall moved slightly, turned into a phantom and crossed the distance of the star belt, landing in front of many dwarfs. King Dwarf, I have given orders to the starry sky beast. It will move in the starry sky outside Nval and will not harass you. Sal smiled. In response to Sal's words, King Dwarf nodded slightly, but there was a bit more curiosity in his eyes when he looked at Sal, and he seemed hesitant to speak. The energy battery that suddenly appeared just now and the energy fluctuations released in a short moment could be clearly detected by King Dwarf. It was the first time in his life that he had seen that majestic special energy fluctuation, and he was already extremely curious. You know, as the race that is best at casting in the universe, they have a very detailed understanding of all kinds of magical materials in this universe. The dwarf family has dabbled in almost all precious materials. Only the golden object just now, King Dwarf couldn't tell what it was. According to King Dwarf's countless years of experience, the value of that golden item is absolutely very precious. However, the strange young man in front of him, as if he didn't care at all, casually threw the golden object to the starry sky beast, as if he was feeding it. Your Excellency Thrall, please come with me and let me show you around our country. When leading Thrall forward, most of King Dwarf's eyes were on Thrall intentionally or unintentionally, trying to get some clues from this young man. However, he was disappointed. There was no breath released from Sal's body, it was like a bottomless pool, the bottom of which could not be seen at a glance. In response to King Dwarf's appraising gaze, Thrall always had a faint smile on his face, casually chatting with King Dwarf, not directly stating his intention for a while, and letting King Dwarf guess. In the end, King Dwarf couldn't help but feel curious, and said insinuatingly to Thrall, Your Excellency Thrall, your partner is quite magical. I think its strength should be comparable to the strong men in the god's domain. Sal smiled slightly and was noncommittal. That guy is a creature that lives in the starry sky. When I met it, it was chewing stones in a meteorite field, and then it followed me. Thrall's words were ambiguous, which made King Dwarf have a lot of guesses in his mind. Being able to subdue such a monster, there is no doubt about Lord Thrall's strength. Moreover, Lord Thrall can use that kind of golden item to raise the giant beast in the sky. It definitely comes from a great power. Could it be one of the 3 alien empires? Quote. After seeing that the insinuations yielded no results, the outspoken dwarf king was too lazy to continue to talk about it and asked directly. The dwarf family has always been like this, with a fiery and upright personality, no twists and turns, and no tricks or tricks. It is precisely for this reason that the dwarf clan declared their surrender to the divine realm because of God King Odin's promise to protect them. They have been the coolies of the divine realm for countless years. Over the years, they have helped the divine realm to forge too many weapons and artifacts. Are you interested in energy batteries? Sal smiled slightly, a cunning light flashed in his eyes. When letting the starry sky beast leave, Thrall deliberately took out the energy battery and let it devour it, just to arouse the dwarf's curiosity. This brand new energy battery, the strange energy in it, even Thrall values very much. For dwarf, who loves casting, the temptation of such a thing is extremely huge. Lord Sal, do you think that golden material is actually a special kind of battery? After hearing Thrall's words, King Dwarf was stunned, and then asked quickly, his mind completely attracted to the energy battery. The big fish is about to take the bait. Seeing the eager look on King Dwarf's face, Thrall's smile grew thicker. King Dwarf, when I first arrived in Nval, I discovered that the energy source used in the area you live in should be the huge amounts of fixed star core in the distance, right? Thrall smiled slightly and deliberately did not answer the Dwarf King's words. Instead, he changed the subject and talked about the dwarf clan. Yes, our dwarf family has been thriving here for countless years. This fixed star has always been the only source of energy for our life and casting. Only by using the huge energy and special heat of the fixed star core can we forge some special artifacts. Speaking of the fixed star core, the dwarf king's face showed a hint of glory. This fixed star core is closely related to the glory forged by their dwarf family. However, if my perception is correct, even if it is a normal consumption, this fixed star core can only provide Nval for 1,000 years at most. If you cast the artifact and mobilize the huge star core energy, it will accelerate the failure of the star core. Once the star core energy riots, or the energy is exhausted, the result will be. After saying this, Thrall listened and looked at King Dwarf, whose expression gradually changed. If the life of a fixed star comes to an end, there are only 3 possibilities. White dwarf, neutron star, black hole. No matter which one it is a huge disaster of genocide for the dwarf country Nval. Thrall sharply pointed out the crisis facing the dwarf clan, and the dwarf king's face was filled with worry. The dwarf family had discovered this matter several generations ago, but they had no way to solve it. The dwarf family living next to the core of the fixed star are like moths compared to this planet, constantly extracting energy from the fixed star and accelerating its aging and death. However, without the energy of the fixed star core, how could the dwarf family create powerful artifacts that are famous in the universe? Stopping the creation of artifacts can indeed extend the life of the fixed star core. But in this case, without the ability to create artifacts, will Asgard, the divine realm, still protect these worthless wastes? Every time he thought about this, King Dwarf felt his heart tighten and he couldn't breathe. Well, for a moment, King Dwarf was speechless and could only let out a long sigh. After Thrall saw through the crisis of the dwarf clan, the dwarf king no longer needed to hide it, his face was full of sorrow. Seeing this, Sal smiled slightly. Chief Iqui, this is why I came here this time. Thrall spoke unhurriedly and said something that shocked King Dwarf. Lord Sal, what did you say? Shocked by Thrall's words, King Dwarf looked up at Thrall in disbelief. You heard me right. I can change the current situation of the dwarf clan. Not only can I save you from crisis, but I can even make the dwarf clan prosper and become a powerful race in the universe. Sal spoke calmly, with undoubted confidence in his tone. Feeling Thrall's strong belief, King Dwarf felt a little more hopeful, and his eyes when looking at Thrall changed slightly. If this mysterious young man named Thrall can really help the dwarf family, then he must seize this opportunity. Lord Sal, what can you do? King Dwarf asked expectantly. Chief Iqui, there are 2 crises facing the dwarf clan. First, energy depletion. If the fixed star core energy is exhausted within 1,000 years, the dwarf clan will not only be unable to continue to forge artifacts, but will also die due to the decay of the fixed star core. Genocide. Secondly, no race in the universe can match the dwarf clan in terms of casting, but their true strength is far from powerful. There must be a powerful force to protect them to ensure the survival of the dwarf clan, otherwise they will be destroyed in a matter of minutes. Those jealous forces will eat up all the bones. Am I right? Facing King Dwarf, Thrall had a faint smile on his face, and his thorough analysis surprised King Dwarf. Thrall's words undoubtedly touched King Dwarf's heart. The fixed star core energy source is on the one hand, the protection of strong strength, and it is also a very important factor. If it weren't for this, the dwarf clan wouldn't have worked as coolies for God's domain for so many years without any reason. Although Dwarf is upright, he is definitely not stupid. Regarding Thrall's analysis, King Dwarf could only nod helplessly. Very good, now let's talk about the first point. The fixed star core cannot be taken away no matter what. The fixed star in the final stage is a time bomb. It may run out of energy at any time and affect the area where you live. The dwarf family wants to continue to develop. We must find another energy source that can provide sufficient casting conditions, right? Thrall asked. The dwarf king nodded helplessly. Seeing King Dwarf like this, Thrall laughed a little. It seemed that the things he said really troubled King Dwarf, and he only responded with such an expression now. With a slight smile, Sal turned his palm slightly, and a dazzling golden light suddenly shone. In Thrall's palm, a new energy battery unique to sovereigns suddenly appeared. This. The golden light of the energy battery was extremely dazzling, making King Dwarf unable to open his eyes. However, the special and vast energy fluctuations of the energy battery made King Dwarf feel shocked. Even without seeing it with the naked eye, standing in front of the energy battery, King Dwarf has the illusion of facing a sun. The dwarf family will next forge the energy source of the artifact. Sal spoke confidently. For his familiarity with energy, Thrall can be called the authority in the entire universe. All kinds of energy are like pieces of food in front of Sal. No one is unfamiliar with their food. Compared with the energy battery produced by Sovereign, the energy level of the fixed star core is several levels behind. Star core energy can be used as the energy source for casting, and the energy battery is naturally more than enough. Although he couldn't see clearly what the energy battery looked like, after some careful perception, King Dwarf had a look of wonder on his face. The energy contained in this energy battery can definitely support them in casting powerful artifacts. Its effect is much more than that of fixed star core. In fact, King Dwarf immediately came up with a hypothesis. If this golden energy can really be used as a casting energy source, the dwarf family is sure to break through the existing casting level and create a super powerful artifact. Lord Thrall, this energy battery. As much as you want. As soon as the golden light faded, the energy battery had been put away by Thrall. If he didn't put it away, the dwarf king would have to keep his eyes closed the whole time he was talking to him. Lord Thrall, are you willing to provide this battery to the dwarf family? King Dwarf suppressed the excitement in his heart and thought of a question. That's the next thing. King Dwarf, now let me tell you the solution to the second problem I just raised. Seeing King Dwarf's face turning red from excitement or nervousness, Thrall spoke. As long as the dwarf clan follows me, no one in this universe will dare to touch a hair of yours. As long as the dwarf clan follows me, no one in this universe will dare to touch a hair of yours. As soon as these words came out, Dwarf Wang Iqui's heart was shaken. How arrogant and confident does it take to dare to say such a thing? Iqui could no longer hold back his curiosity and horror as he looked at Sal. Lord Sal, I would like to ask, what is your identity? By this time, Iqui had understood that Sal's background might be far beyond his imagination. My full name is Sal Garland, and Planet Devourer, one of the 5 names of creation gods, is my father. Sal had a faint smile on his face and no longer concealed his identity. What? As soon as Thrall's words came out, King Dwarf immediately let out an incredible exclamation and almost fell to the ground uncontrollably. Having seen Sal's tyrannical strength before, Iqui knew that a strong man like Sal had definitely not a simple background. When Thrall was talking about the energy battery, Eitri was already thinking that Thrall might be connected with some of the top forces in the universe, and he had a very high status among these top forces. But no matter how hard Iqui tried, he would never have imagined that Sal's identity was much higher than even the most powerful person in power in the universe. Son of the Creator God, what is this concept? In the entire universe, the 5 creation gods are absolutely supreme and unparalleled existences. For countless centuries, due to the special nature of the 5 creation gods, they have no descendants. The only thing that was spreading throughout the universe was the legend not long ago that Galactus gave birth to a son with his bloodline with the help of the supreme will of the universe. It seems that this is Thrall in front of me. Lord Sar, I didn't expect you to be. Facing Thrall, King Dwarf was so shocked that he could hardly speak. King Dwarf, you shouldn't think that what I said is a big lie now, right? Thrall smiled slightly, and clusters of nebula particles spread out from his body like ribbons, surrounding Thrall's body. The aura inherited from the creation god was slightly released, making King Dwarf feel a surge of energy originating from the source of life. Strong pressure. This kind of aura is not because of how powerful Thrall is, but because of the unparalleled mark in his bloodline, which is beyond all things in the universe and is unattainable. Lord Thrall, as long as you can help our dwarf clan become stronger, I am willing to surrender to you on behalf of the dwarf clan. After feeling this breath, King Dwarf no longer had any doubts in his heart, only surprise. When he spoke, he leaned over and knelt down to Thrall without any hesitation. Allowed to be protected by Asgard, their dwarf clan's life is no different from that of coolies, and they have to face a huge crisis that the race cannot be passed on. If we can follow the son of the creation god, then the future of the dwarf family. King Dwarf, who was kneeling respectfully in front of Thrall, was shaking uncontrollably, and his heart was in turmoil. Okay, King Dwarf, you will never regret today's decision. I can promise that as long as the dwarf clan truly surrenders to me, there is absolutely no need to worry about safety, and in the near future, your clan will be respected by the entire universe. Seeing King Dwarf's reaction, Thrall smiled slightly and made a promise. With his status, he wants to protect the dwarf family. I am afraid that no one in the entire universe dares to take advantage of the dwarf family easily. The nebula particles turned into soft power, gently lifting the kneeling dwarf king, and Thrall showed a look of satisfaction on his face. King Dwarf, since you have followed me now, I will not treat you badly. The sovereign star field, dozens of star fields away from Nval, is now my territory. I will set aside a special area suitable for dwarf. The area of survival and development is given to you. The energy battery I showed you before will be used as the energy source for your casting. Also, as long as the performance of the dwarf family satisfies me, I can have many rare materials collected for you as a gift. With your rewards. Thrall spoke and made a promise that made King Dwarf almost faint from surprise. The dwarf clan is upright by nature and does not have much inclination for conspiracy. Thrall could feel that there were indeed no other unreasonable thoughts in the emotional fluctuations shown by the dwarf king in front of him. Thrall has always been generous to his subordinates who are loyal to him, so he promised such huge amounts of benefits. Lord Thrall, don't worry, the dwarf family will never disappoint you. The outspoken dwarf king was almost moved to tears at this time. What Thrall promised and what they got from surrendering to the god's domain was simply a paradise or a hell. There was no comparison at all. Okay, King Dwarf, Nval is no longer suitable for you to stay in this star field for a long time. I will notify Sovereign and ask them to arrange warships to escort you there. You should also pack up and be prepared. Thrall gave a faint order, leaving plenty of time for Dwarf. I understand, Lord Thrall, but on the Asgard side of the divine realm. Don't worry, I will be fully responsible for any problems. Thrall smiled slightly, and the magnificent Asgard he had seen in the movie came to mind. According to his plan, in the near future, he will take the initiative to contact God Realm without having to look for him. After all, according to Thrall's knowledge, God King Odin can place countless treasures from the 9 realms in the huge treasure house of God's domain. These things can be huge amounts of help in improving Thrall's strength. In the entire God's domain, the only person that Thrall is a little afraid of so far is the old man Odin, the God King who has reached level Godfather. But with Sal's powerful inheritance ability, it will definitely not take long to break through level Godfather. At this point, the matter of the dwarf family has been perfectly settled. The dwarf king was so surprised that he quickly spread the news throughout Nval, causing huge waves among the many dwarfs. Originally, Thrall took action in time when the star core energy was rampant, which made all dwarfs full of gratitude to Thrall. Now King Dwarf has announced Thrall's identity, which shocked everyone even more. After hearing the extremely generous conditions Thrall offered the dwarf family, almost all dwarfs completely agreed with the dwarf king's decision without thinking. What an honor it is to follow the son of the creator god. I'm afraid even the ancestors of the dwarf clan could not match it when the dwarf clan was at its most prosperous, right? All foundry areas in Nval have stopped working, and the dwarfs have begun to happily pack up their belongings, ready to leave at any time. On the other side, Thrall also contacted Sovereign through communication tools. A powerful fleet that has absorbed the scientific and technological achievements of Goliath has set off from Sovereign, crossed the Star Sea, and headed towards Nval. Lord Thrall. Amidst the roar, a magnificent fleet slowly descended, and soon a line of golden sovereigns came out and knelt respectfully in front of Thrall. This huge battleship still followed Sovereign's usual style, and was entirely golden, as if made of pure gold. However, compared to the unmanned fleet that Thrall had faced, it was many times more powerful. Moreover, the core energy has also been upgraded and replaced by a powerful energy battery. It seems that with the ancient inheritance brought by the Goliath star, Sovereign's technology has made many leaps in just a few months. Isn't the High Priest here? Sal glanced at the crowd, but there was no figure of a Yessa among them, which made Sal a little confused. Now Sovereign is in a stage of rapid development. The High Priest has a lot of trivial matters. In order to avoid being coveted by surrounding forces, the High Priest needs to be in charge of Sovereign himself, so he cannot come. The fleet commander explained to Thrall. Sal nodded slightly. I originally thought that Aisha would also come with the fleet, but she didn't see it, which made Thrall miss her a little. This once extremely proud woman has changed a lot in just a few months and has matured a lot, which makes Sal even more satisfied. In this case, the dwarf family will be left to you. I have explained everything that needs to be explained. How to arrange the dwarf family. Do as I say. Remember, you must bring them to the Sovereign Star territory safely. In addition, if you ask if there are any problems with Waylon, please report them to me at any time. After a brief explanation, Thrall did not delay and let the dwarf clan, who had already packed up, board the Sovereign battleship. As the huge amounts of roar gradually faded away, the entire Nval became empty. Apart from the Metal Kingdom gradually established by the dwarf family for countless years, there was only the fixed star core not far away that shone brightly and dimly. This fixed star core, which symbolizes the past of the dwarf family, has completely entered the twilight of its life, and Thrall can feel the aura of weakness and decadence in it. Since the dwarf family has left this place, it would be a waste to keep the star core of this planet. The majestic nebula particles once again poured out of Thrall's body. After a while, the entire Nval was completely plunged into darkness. The originally dying fixed star core disappeared into the vast universe, and there was no trace of its existence anymore. Although the fixed star core, which symbolizes the past of the dwarf family, was wasted by Thrall and completely swallowed up, the entire dwarf family will not decline because of this, on the contrary. After all, the dwarf family will have a new beginning. Gone, Thrall shouted softly, and the huge body of the starry sky beast quickly came from the starry sky and flew around Thrall. After not seeing each other for a few days, the starry sky beast's body seemed to be a little bigger, and its aura became much more powerful, making Thrall look a little satisfied. In his perception, the strength of Star Behemoth, under his unstinting training, is gradually approaching the peak of the planet level. With its powerful body, its combat power should be considered the top among regular planet levels, kind. After taking down an energy battery, the starry sky beast was filled with golden light, like a neon light, and carried Sal out of the dim Nval. Let's go, let's take you on a long journey to see the elders of the universe who really hold power in the universe. Through mental communication, Thrall imprinted the next itinerary on the starry sky beast's mind. According to Thrall's itinerary, the target location this time is Saka, a space garbage station with countless space wormholes, now known as the Cosmic Arena. Saka, located in the Teo galaxy in the Fornix system, is a quite mysterious planet. It is surrounded by space wormholes of large and small sizes in all directions. Without the correct star map guidance, it is difficult to find the correct route to enter. Definitely, Thrall is not included. Based on his status, a planet of Saka's level cannot be considered a truly mysterious place in the universe. After weeks of trekking, the starry beast finally followed the star map that Thrall had imprinted on its mind and carefully avoided the weird space wormholes. They arrived at the area where Saka was. Thrall let out a breath and couldn't help but look back at the area behind him that was full of space wormholes. After this journey, Thrall understood why Saka was said to be mysterious. Although there is a correct star map, it is definitely not easy to travel between these wormholes. With his current level sub-godfather's near-invincible strength, there are also a lot of strange auras coming out of space wormholes that make him feel quite afraid. Especially a huge, dark and slowly rotating wormhole, which contained a terrifying power of destruction, made Saldu frown. Facing this aura that destroyed all things, Thrall had a feeling that with his current strength, he might not be able to bear it if he faced this power of destruction. The mystery of space is really fascinating. It would be great if I got the space gem. Sal turned around and murmured in his heart. If he can control the space gem, then the mysterious veil of space in front of him will be completely unveiled. Such space wormholes are just appetizers for Thrall. Thrall can explore and devour strange energy. Thrall's perception has been fully covered, and he soon noticed the most prosperous area on the planet named Saka. Just through the perception of the aura, Sal could clearly detect that there were many strong auras gathered together in this not particularly large area. The owners of these auras are obviously the contestants in the Saka championship battle. At the same time, Thrall also keenly sensed that at the moment, an extremely powerful aura was constantly colliding with another weaker aura, and it was obvious that a fierce battle was taking place. It's interesting, little guy, let's go and watch a good show. Thrall patted the starry sky beast and gave an order. The behemoth in the starry sky immediately understood, and carried Thrall into a stream of light and rushed towards the legendary planet Saka. Boom! Huge amounts of roar made the ground of Saka's largest arena tremble. A figure of huge amounts was smashed to the ground from the sky. The strong inertia made him sink deeply into the hard ground, raising smoke and dust all over the sky. Another figure of huge amounts also descended from the sky, raising the weapon with cold light in its hand and letting out a crazy bloodthirsty roar. Ho! Okay! Kill him! Kill him! Finish him quickly! Along with the excited roar of the winner, the originally fiery atmosphere of the entire arena was completely detonated, and countless crazy spectators cheered one after another. The battle is over, the winner is Barbassa. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.